Hello guys, welcome to Scion What If. So in this video, we will see what if Goku absorbed all 7 Dragon Balls permanently. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, The Awakening. The sky darkened over Capsule Corp as 7 glowing orbs hovered in a perfect circle. Bulma adjusted her dragon radar with a satisfied grin while the Z fighters gathered around. Another adventure completed, another set of Dragon Balls collected. I still don't get why we needed to gather them if we don't have a wish, Krillin said, scratching his head. Bulma rolled her eyes. Because, genius, there's a cosmic alignment happening tonight that only occurs once every 10,000 years. It's the perfect opportunity to study the Dragon Ball's energy signature. Goku bounced on his heels with childlike excitement. Plus, it's always fun to see Shenron. Maybe he gets lonely inside those balls. Vegeta scoffed from his position against a nearby tree. Only you would worry about a mystical dragon's feelings, Kakarot. Alright, everyone stand back, Bulma announced, positioning her instruments. I just need some energy readings when Shenron appears. Goku stepped forward. Hey, can I summon him this time? I never get to do the fun part. Fine, just don't mess up my readings, Bulma sighed. The orange spheres pulsed with inner light as Goku approached them. Above, the night sky revealed 3 moons in rare alignment, their light casting an unusual blue tint over everything. Eternal Dragon. By your name, I summon you forth, Shenron. Goku called out, his voice carrying unusual weight in the still air. The Dragon Balls glowed brighter, but instead of rising upward as expected, they began spinning rapidly. A bolt of energy shot from the center of their formation, striking Goku square in the chest. Goku! Krillin shouted as his friend dropped to one knee. The 7 orbs lifted off the ground, orbiting Goku's body at increasing speed. Trails of golden light stretched between them, forming a complex geometric pattern with Goku at the center. Something's wrong. Bulma yelled, her instruments going haywire. These readings are off the charts. Vegeta dashed forward but was thrown back by an invisible barrier. Kakarot. Push them away. Goku couldn't respond. His eyes glowed the same orange as the Dragon Balls, his body suspended a foot above the ground. The spinning orbs moved faster until they became streaks of light, then suddenly shot forward, directly into Goku's chest. One by one, the 7 Dragon Balls phased into his body, each disappearing with a flash of golden light. As the last ball vanished, Goku let out a primal scream that shattered windows across West City. Then, silence. Goku floated gently back to the ground, unconscious but seemingly unharmed. The only evidence of what had happened were 7 star-shaped marks arranged in a circle on his chest, each glowing faintly beneath his torn GI. What the hell just happened? Yamcha whispered as they cautiously approached. Chi-Chi pushed through the group, kneeling beside her husband. Goku! Wake up! His eyes fluttered open, but instead of their usual innocent black, they flashed with golden light before returning to normal. Whoa, Goku said, sitting up and rubbing his head. That was weird. Did Shenron show up? The Dragon Balls. Bulma began, staring at the star marks on his chest. They're inside you. Goku looked down at the glowing pattern. Ha! That's new. 3 days later, Goku stood in the wasteland where he first fought Vegeta, trying to make sense of what was happening to him. The star marks remained on his chest, sometimes pulsing with energy that sent strange sensations throughout his body. Come on, he muttered, focusing on the familiar feeling of ki gathering in his palms. Instead of the usual blue energy, golden light erupted from his hands, carving a canyon into the distant mountains with destructive force he couldn't control. Whoa! Goku jumped back, staring at his smoking hands. That's definitely not normal. Impressive, came Vegeta's voice from behind him. The Saiyan Prince landed with arms crossed. Though your aim needs work. Vegeta. Check this out. Goku called excitedly, forgetting momentarily about the seriousness of the situation. He pointed at a massive boulder. Watch what happens when I try to use normal ki. He extended his hand and focused. The boulder didn't just explode, it transformed into a flock of birds that scattered across the sky before turning back into stone and raining down. Vegeta's eyes widened. What the hell was that? I have no idea. Goku replied, equal parts confused and thrilled. It's like my energy doesn't follow the normal rules anymore. Yesterday I tried to heat up some food and turned it into ice cream. This isn't a joke, Kakarot, Vegeta growled. Those Dragon Balls inside you have cosmic significance. Their absence is already causing problems. Goku's expression sobered. What kind of problems? Bulma's been monitoring dimensional stability. There are tiers forming between our world and others. Small ones for now, but growing. Before Goku could respond, pain shot through his body. He doubled over, clutching his head as a voice that wasn't his own reverberated through his mind. Mortal. You cannot contain my essence forever. Did you hear that? Goku gasped. Vegeta frowned. Hear what? A voice, it sounded like. Goku's eyes widened. Shenron. The dragon is inside you too. Vegeta stepped back. This is worse than we thought. Goku straightened, the pain subsiding. He said I can't contain his essence forever. What does that mean? It means we need answers. Vegeta turned toward the sky. And I know where to start looking. The lookout floated serenely above Earth, seemingly untouched by the chaos below. Dend and Mr. Popo rushed forward as Goku and Vegeta landed. We've been expecting you, Dend said, his young face creased with worry. The disturbance in the Dragon Ball's energy has been felt across the cosmos. So you know what happened to me? Goku asked hopefully. Not exactly, Dend admitted. But the ancient texts speak of a convergence that occurs every 10 millennia, when the cosmic barriers between wishes and reality grow thin. Mr. Popo nodded. The Dragon Balls were never meant to be exposed to such powerful celestial energy. The alignment triggered a failsafe. Failsafe? Vegeta demanded. What kind of failsafe merges 7 magical orbs with a Saiyan? One designed to protect them, came a new voice. They turned to see Whis descending from above, his staff glowing softly. The angel's usually carefree expression was uncharacteristically serious. Lord Beerus sent me to investigate the disturbance, Whis explained. It seems our friend Goku has become quite the cosmic anomaly. Can you get them out of me? Goku asked, pointing at his chest. Whis studied him with narrowed eyes. I'm afraid it's not that simple. The Dragon Balls aren't just inside your body, they're integrating with your very essence. Removing them now could destroy you both. Both? You and Shenron, Whis clarified. The dragon's consciousness is merging with yours, which explains the voice you heard. Goku's stomach growled loudly, interrupting the tense moment. He laughed nervously. Sorry. I haven't eaten since breakfast. This whole Dragon Ball situation is making me extra hungry. Vegeta rolled his eyes. Some things never change. Actually, Whis interjected, your increased appetite likely stems from the enormous energy requirements of hosting the Dragon Balls. Your body is burning calories at an extraordinary rate to maintain stability. As if to demonstrate, one of the star marks on Goku's chest pulsed, and his hair briefly flashed from black to a shimmering gold, not his Super Saiyan gold, but something more radiant, almost liquid. That's been happening too, Goku said, patting his chest. Random power surges I can't control. Dend approached cautiously. May I? He asked, hands hovering near Goku's chest. Goku nodded, and the young Namekian placed his palms over the star pattern. His face went slack with awe. It's incredible, Dend whispered. The Dragon Balls aren't just inside you, they're creating a new network of energy throughout your body. Your key pathways are being rewritten. Is that bad? Goku asked. It's unprecedented, Whis answered. You're becoming something neither human, nor Saiyan, nor dragon. Something entirely new. A rumble shook the lookout, nearly knocking them off their feet. The sky above split open like fabric tearing, revealing a swirling vortex of darkness beyond. What the hell is that? Vegeta shouted over the wind that suddenly howled around them. Whis pointed his staff at the rift. A time distortion. The absence of the Dragon Balls is already affecting the cosmic balance more severely than I anticipated. A figure emerged from the rift, humanoid but clearly not human. His skin was bluish-silver, with clock-like mechanisms visible beneath translucent portions of his chest and forearms. Ornate armor adorned his shoulders, and his eyes glowed with the same golden light that now pulsed through Goku. Son Goku, the being announced in a voice that seemed to echo from multiple points in time simultaneously. I am Lord Kronos, Keeper of Temporal Order. Let me guess, Vegeta snarled, stepping forward. You've come for the Dragon Balls. Kronos smiled coldly. I've come to restore what was disrupted. The Dragon Balls exist in a precise temporal rhythm across all dimensions. Their absorption has created a catastrophic deviation from the ordained timeline. Goku moved into a fighting stance. They're kind of stuck in me right now, so you'll have to wait until we figure out how to remove them safely. Safety is irrelevant when faced with total dimensional collapse, Kronos replied. He raised a hand, revealing a staff topped with an hourglass. I will rewind your personal timeline to before the absorption if I must. That would kill him, Whis stated calmly. One life against countless universes. An acceptable exchange. Goku's eyes narrowed. I'm not a big fan of that math. Kronos swung his staff, and the world around them slowed to a crawl. Whis alone seemed unaffected, watching with interest as the timekeeper approached Goku. Fascinating, Whis murmured. It seems the Dragon Balls provide resistance to temporal manipulation. Indeed, while everyone else stood frozen, Goku could still move, albeit slowly, as if pushing through thick syrup. What did you do? Goku forced out, each word taking enormous effort. I've slowed time to extract what doesn't belong to you, Kronos explained, reaching toward Goku's chest. This won't hurt for long. As his fingers touched the first star mark, energy exploded between them. Goku's body erupted in golden light, and time snapped back to normal speed. The force knocked Kronos backward across the lookout. That was weird, Goku said, looking at his hands, which now trailed wisps of golden energy. I didn't even power up. Kronos rose, his mechanical parts whirring. The dragon protects its new vessel. Interesting. He seeks to separate us before the joining is complete. The voice of Shenron boomed through Goku's mind, louder now. Joining? What joining? Goku asked aloud. Kronos tilted his head. You speak with the dragon spirit. Tell me, what does it say about the consequences of your bonding? Before Goku could respond, Vegeta launched himself at Kronos, fist cocked back. Enough talk. The timekeeper simply waved his hand, and Vegeta froze in midair. Primitive, Kronos sighed. I existed before your universe was formed, Scion Prince. Goku disappeared, moving faster than even was anticipated, and reappeared behind Kronos with a kick aimed at his head. The timekeeper blocked it, but the impact sent shockwaves across the lookout, cracking the ancient tiles. Impressive speed, Kronos acknowledged. The Dragon Balls enhance your natural abilities. Not just speed, Goku grinned. He placed 2 fingers to his forehead and vanished, taking Kronos with him. They reappeared in a dimension of swirling, colorful gases, the heart of a nebula in deep space. Goku released Kronos and jumped back, unaffected by the lack of atmosphere. What is this? Kronos demanded, looking around. How did you teleport me against my will? Goku shrugged. Honestly? No idea. I just thought it would be better to fight away from my friends, and suddenly I could bring you along for the ride. You don't even understand what you're becoming, Kronos said, his voice carrying despite the vacuum. The Dragon Balls weren't meant to exist within a living being. They're reshaping you into something that threatens the cosmic order. Wouldn't be the first time I've heard that, Goku replied, rolling his shoulders. Look, I didn't ask for this, but I'm not letting you rewind me either. There has to be another solution. There isn't. Kronos raised his staff, and the nebula around them began to age rapidly, stars forming and dying in seconds. This is but a taste of the chaos your existence will cause. Goku felt something stir within him, not Shenron's voice this time, but a deeper knowledge. Without understanding how, he raised his hand and the accelerated time flow stabilized. How are you doing this? Kronos asked, genuine surprise in his tone. No mortal can counter temporal manipulation. I'm not sure I qualify as just a mortal anymore, Goku replied, equally surprised at his new abilities. Now let's talk instead of fight. I don't want the universe in danger any more than you do. Kronos lowered his staff slightly. You truly don't comprehend what's happening. The 7 Dragon Balls exist as cosmic regulators across all dimensions. Their magic maintains boundaries between realities. By absorbing them, you've removed the pins holding the multiverse tapestry together. So help me put them back without dying in the process, Goku suggested. Impossible. The integration has begun. But perhaps. Kronos studied Goku with new interest. Perhaps instead of removing them, you could learn to fulfill their function. Become a cosmic regulator. How would I even do that? You wouldn't. You would fail, and existence would collapse. Kronos raised his staff again. I cannot risk it. The timekeeper thrust his weapon forward, but instead of time manipulation, it fired a beam of concentrated energy directly at Goku's chest. Acting on instinct, Goku didn't dodge, instead, he caught the beam in his bare hand. The energy swirled in his palm, compressed into a tiny sphere, and then Goku did something he'd never done before, he swallowed it. His body glowed from within as the star marks on his chest pulsed rhythmically. That tasted weird, Goku said, feeling the energy distribute throughout his system. Kronos stepped back. You absorbed a pure chronoton beam. That's not possible. I'm kinda rewriting what's possible lately, Goku replied with his characteristic grin, though his eyes betrayed his own confusion at his new abilities. The timekeeper's expression hardened. If I cannot remove the Dragon Balls from the present, then I shall find a point in time when I can. He twisted his staff, and the nebula around them shimmered. Suddenly, they weren't in space anymore, they stood on Earth, but not the Earth Goku knew. The landscape was prehistoric, with massive creatures roaming primitive jungles. Welcome to Earth, 65 million years ago, Kronos announced. Before humans, before civilization. I've brought us to when you're most vulnerable. Goku looked around in wonder. Wow, real dinosaurs. Way bigger than the ones in my time. Focus, Scion, Kronos snapped. In this time period, your ancestors haven't even evolved. You exist as a temporal anomaly here, which weakens your connection to your own timeline. As if to prove his point, Goku felt a sudden drain in his energy. The star marks on his chest dimmed slightly. What did you do to me? Goku asked, dropping to one knee. Nothing. This is the natural effect of existing where you should not. The Dragon Balls lose power outside their proper time stream. Kronos approached. Now, shall we try the extraction again? Before he could reach Goku, the ground beneath them shook violently. A massive volcanic eruption began in the distance, spewing ash into the sky. You brought us to the extinction event. Goku coughed as ash filled the air. Not the best plan. On the contrary, Kronos smiled coldly. What better cover for your disappearance than a cataclysm that reshapes the planet? A tyrannosaur charged through the trees toward them, driven mad by the environmental catastrophe. Goku, despite his weakened state, caught its jaws before they could close around him. Sorry, big guy, he said, redirecting the dinosaur away from them. Got bigger problems right now. The sky darkened further as a massive object appeared, the asteroid that would end the dinosaur's reign. Its impact would throw enough dust into the atmosphere to block the sun for years. The universe has a sense of irony, Kronos observed. The very cataclysm I sought happens to coincide with our arrival. Goku looked up at the approaching extinction event, then down at the dimming stars on his chest. Something clicked in his mind. You said the Dragon Balls regulate cosmic boundaries, he called over the chaos. That includes time, doesn't it? Kronos narrowed his eyes. What are you planning? Instead of answering, Goku concentrated on the stars embedded in his chest. If the Dragon Balls could grant wishes that defied reality, and if they were now part of him. I wish we were back in my time, he shouted. Nothing happened. Kronos laughed. The wishing power is dormant within you. It requires mastery you don't possess. Not a wish, Shenron's voice rumbled in Goku's mind. Command. Understanding flooded through Goku. He wasn't meant to wish upon the Dragon Balls anymore, he was meant to command their power directly. He spread his arms wide as the asteroid entered the atmosphere, its heat already scorching the land around them. Return us to our proper time. Goku commanded, his voice carrying the same resonant quality Shenron's did. The star marks blazed with renewed intensity. Reality itself seemed to tear around them, and Kronos' eyes widened in shock as golden energy engulfed them both. Impossible, the timekeeper cried. They materialized back on the lookout, exactly where they'd left, but to Goku's surprise, no time had passed. Vegeta remained frozen in mid-attack, Whis was in the same position, watching with calm interest. With a wave of his hand, Goku released the time stop affecting Vegeta, who stumbled forward, his momentum carrying him through the space where Kronos had been standing. What the? Vegeta spun around, taking in the scene. Where did you go? You were just here. We took a little trip to dinosaur times, Goku explained, feeling surprisingly energized despite the ordeal. About 65 million years ago. Kronos stared at Goku with new respect. You commanded a time jump with precision. The Dragon Balls truly are integrating with your consciousness. Is that good or bad? Goku asked. Both, the timekeeper replied. You're learning to stabilize their power, which temporarily lessens the dimensional disruption. But the fuller your integration becomes, the harder it will be to ever separate you. Whis tapped his staff on the lookout floor. Perhaps it's time we consulted with Lord Beerus. This situation falls under his purview as destroyer. Kronos turned sharply toward the angel. The destroyer has no authority over temporal matters. No, but he does have authority over threats to his universe, Whis countered pleasantly. And you, Lord Kronos, are becoming such a threat. The timekeeper scowled. I seek to prevent universal collapse. Through means that might hasten it, Whis pointed out. Forcibly removing the Dragon Balls from Goku in his current state could release enough uncontrolled energy to destroy this galaxy. Then what do you propose? Kronos demanded. Goku stepped between them. How about you give me some time to learn to control these powers? If I can stabilize the Dragon Balls inside me, maybe the dimensional problems will stop. And if they don't? Kronos asked. Then I'll find a safe way to return them, Goku promised. I'm not interested in seeing the universe collapse any more than you are. The timekeeper considered this, the mechanical parts in his body clicking softly as he processed the proposal. I will grant you 1 month, by your Earth reckoning. If the dimensional tears haven't begun to heal by then, I will take more direct action, regardless of the consequences to you. Without waiting for a response, Kronos tapped his staff on the ground and vanished into another temporal rift. Well, he seems nice, Goku said with a nervous laugh. You're making jokes. Vegeta growled. You have cosmic destruction machines merging with your cells, and a time god threatening to erase you. What else can I do? Goku shrugged. Panicking won't help. Whis studied the star pattern on Goku's chest. The integration is progressing more rapidly than I anticipated. The Dragon Balls respond to your will now, at least partially. Yeah, about that, Goku scratched his head. It wasn't exactly like making a wish. More like, I don't know, like they're becoming an extension of me. Shenron's voice is getting clearer too. What does the dragon say? Dend asked. Mostly cryptic stuff about joining and warnings about people trying to separate us, Goku admitted. Not super helpful. A sudden pain shot through Goku's body, dropping him to his knees. The star marks flared brightly, and for a brief moment, his entire form became translucent, revealing an intricate network of golden energy running throughout his body. Goku. Dend rushed forward, hands already glowing with healing energy. Something's wrong, Goku gasped. It feels like I'm being pulled in 7 different directions at once. Whis observed with clinical interest. The Dragon Balls are attempting to fulfill their natural function, to disperse across the earth. Being contained in one vessel contradicts their magical purpose. So they're fighting each other inside me? Goku managed through clenched teeth. More likely they're fighting your own life force, which naturally wants to keep you intact, Whis corrected. The pain subsided, leaving Goku breathing heavily on his hands and knees. That's going to be a problem. Indeed, Whis agreed. If the Dragon Balls fully integrate with you while maintaining their drive to separate, you could be literally torn apart from within. Vegeta crossed his arms. And yet you agreed. To Kronos' 1-month deadline. You may not have that long, Kakarot. We need to stabilize the integration, Den said, his hands hovering over Goku's chest. Perhaps the original creator of the Dragon Balls would know how. Kami created Earth's Dragon Balls, and he's fused with Piccolo now, Goku said, climbing back to his feet. Not Kami, Whis interjected. The Namekian who first conceived of Dragon Balls and taught others to create them. He lived thousands of years ago. Goku brightened. Is he still around? No, Whis said bluntly. But his knowledge was preserved in the divine library of Lord Zeno. Vegeta's jaw dropped. You want us to ask the Omni King for help? The being who erased entire universes on a whim? Not exactly, Whis smiled. I merely suggest we consult the archives. With Lord Beerus's approval, of course. Another ripple of pain washed through Goku, milder this time but accompanied by something new, a flash of vision. For an instant, he saw not the lookout, but a vast darkness filled with hungry eyes. We need to hurry, Goku said, his voice uncharacteristically serious. I think the Dragon Balls are showing me something coming through the tears between dimensions. What did you see? Dend asked. I'm not sure, Goku admitted. But whatever it is, it knows the Dragon Balls are inside me, and it's very, very hungry. Chi-Chi paced the living room of their modest home, occasionally glancing out the window at the strange auroras that had begun appearing in the daytime sky. Gohan sat at the table, analyzing data on his laptop while Goten watched his father with fascination. Do it again, the young half-scion urged. Goku sighed but obliged, holding out his hand. A tiny replica of Shenron formed above his palm, made entirely of golden light, and danced through the air before dissipating. That's so cool! Goten exclaimed. Can I learn to do that? Probably not, Goku laughed, ruffling his son's hair. It's not really a technique. More like the Dragon Balls expressing themselves through you, Gohan finished, looking up from his computer. The energy readings I'm getting from you are unlike anything I've ever seen, Dad. Not Ki, not God Ki, something entirely different. Chi-Chi slammed a pot down on the stove harder than necessary. And no one knows how to fix this. To get those things out of him. Bulma's working on it, Goku assured her. And tomorrow, Whis is taking me to see Beerus about accessing some ancient knowledge. The destroyer god, Chi-Chi muttered. Wonderful. Goku crossed the room and put his hands on his wife's shoulders. It's going to be okay, Chi-Chi, I've been in tough spots before. This isn't like your other battles, she protested, tears welling in her eyes. You're changing, Goku. I can see it happening. Your eyes sometimes, they're not yours. Goku pulled her into a hug, conscious of the star marks on his chest pressing against her. I'm still me, he promised. No matter what changes, that won't. She fears what you are becoming, Shenron's voice rumbled in his mind. And what am I becoming? Goku asked silently, having learned to communicate with the dragon mentally. Something necessary. Before Goku could press for more details, a sharp knock came at the door. Gohan answered it to find Piccolo standing there, his cape billowing though there was no wind. We have a problem, the Namekian announced without preamble. One of the dimensional tiers has widened. Something's coming through. Goku gently released Chi-Chi, where? Satan City, Piccolo replied. Krillin and Tien are already there, but they're outmatched. I'm coming too, Gohan said, already changing out of his scholarly clothes into his fighting GI. Me too. Goten piped up. Chi-Chi grabbed her younger son's shoulder. You're staying right here, young man. Goten pouted but didn't argue with his mother's tone. Goku placed 2 fingers to his forehead, his other hand on Piccolo's shoulder. Gohan grabbed his father's arm. I'll be back soon, Goku told Chi-Chi, don't worry. Chi-Chi's expression said she would definitely worry, but she nodded. Be careful. All of you. Goku focused, and the 3 warriors vanished. Satan City was in chaos. A tear in reality hung suspended above the central plaza, a jagged black gash in the air itself. From it emerged creatures that defied description, shifting masses of darkness with too many limbs and glowing purple eyes. Krillin blasted one back with a Destructo disc, but 2 more appeared in its place. They just keep coming. Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan materialized in the center of the battle. Immediately, all the creatures turned toward Goku, their formless bodies orienting on him like compass needles. Dragon. The word emerged from them collectively, a hungry whisper that seemed to come from everywhere at once. I'm guessing they're not here for a friendly chat, Gohan said, dropping into a fighting stance. One of the larger entities surged forward, faster than expected. Goku raised his hand instinctively, and golden energy erupted from his palm, not a ki blast, but a concentrated beam of Dragon Ball energy. It pierced the creature, which dissolved with a shriek. They're vulnerable to the Dragon Ball power, Piccolo observed. Good to know, Goku nodded. Let me handle this. He stepped forward, drawing on the new energy flowing through him. The star marks on his chest blazed through his GI as he channeled power unlike anything he'd used before. Golden light surrounded his body, lifting him off the ground. Return to your dimension, Goku commanded, his voice overlaid with Shenron's deeper tones. The creatures recoiled but didn't retreat. Instead, they began to merge, smaller ones flowing into larger ones, creating more substantial forms. Dragon, give us. Dragon. They chanted, their voices growing stronger. The largest creature, now the size of a small building, extended a limb toward the dimensional tear. The rift widened further, and something massive began to emerge, a single, enormous eye surrounded by writhing darkness. That's not good, Krillin said, backing up. They seek to consume us, Shenron warned within Goku's mind. The Void Collective feeds on magical energy. Dragon Balls are the ultimate feast. Thanks for the heads up, Goku muttered. Any suggestions on how to stop them? Seal the tier. Great. how do I do that? Instead of answering, Shenron's consciousness seemed to surge forward within Goku's mind. Knowledge flooded through him, ancient symbols, patterns of energy, the fundamental structure of dimensional boundaries. Goku raised both hands toward the rift. Words in a language he'd never learned flowed from his lips, and golden light streamed from his fingertips, weaving complex patterns in the air. What's he doing? Tien asked, joining the group. Something new, Piccolo answered, watching intently. The light from Goku's hands formed a network that began to close around the edges of the dimensional tear. The creatures screeched in protest, attacking the golden threads, but each touch seemed to burn them. Keep them away from Dad. Gohan shouted, launching into battle alongside Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien. Goku continued the incantation, sweat beading on his forehead as he channeled more power. The massive eye began to retreat back through the rift as the opening slowly contracted. Almost, got it. Goku strained, the star marks on his chest pulsing rapidly. Suddenly, one of the creatures broke through the defenders and slammed into Goku from behind. His concentration shattered, and the golden network destabilized. No! Goku shouted as the tear began to widen again. The creature that hit him wrapped around his body, its substance flowing like liquid darkness. Where it touched the star marks on his chest, it seemed to be drawing energy directly from him. Get off him! Gohan fired a Masenko blast, but the creature absorbed it without effect. Goku felt the Dragon Ball's energy being drained. Pain lanced through his body as the creature attempted to extract their power. In desperation, he did the only thing he could think of, he dove directly toward the dimensional tear, creature and all. Dad, no! Gohan shouted. As Goku reached the rift, time seemed to slow. The creature, realizing his intent, tried to detach, but Goku held it firmly. You want the Dragon Balls? He growled. Then follow them home. He thrust the creature through the rift, then placed his hands on either side of the tear. With a primal scream, he channeled every ounce of Dragon Ball energy he could muster. The rift contracted violently, closing just as Goku pulled back. The sudden silence was deafening. Where the tear had been, only empty air remained. The remaining creatures had vanished with the closing of their portal. Goku floated down to the ground, his body trembling from exertion. The star marks on his chest flickered weakly. Dad! Gohan rushed to his side. Are you alright? That. Goku managed a weak smile. That was tougher than it looked. He collapsed into his son's arms. Goku awoke to find himself in Bulma's lab, surrounded by monitoring equipment. The scientist herself stood nearby, comparing readings on multiple screens. Welcome back, Sleeping Beauty, Bulma said when she noticed him stirring. You've been out for 18 hours. 18 hours? Goku sat up too quickly, causing the room to spin. What happened after I sealed the rift? You tell me, Bulma replied, bringing him a glass of water. 1 minute you were floating in the air shooting golden light, the next you were unconscious. Gohan brought you here since the hospital isn't exactly equipped to deal with Dragon Ball absorption syndrome. Goku looked down at his chest. The star marks were still there, but dimmer than before. They were feeding on the Dragon Ball's energy, he explained. I could feel it being drained. That explains these readings, Bulma gestured to a chart. The magical frequency of the Dragon Balls inside you is fluctuating. It's like they're trying to recharge. The void creatures wounded us, Shenron confirmed in Goku's mind. We require time to recover. How long? Goku asked aloud. Bulma raised an eyebrow. Talking to your inner dragon again? What's he saying? That they need time to recover, Goku translated. But he's not saying how long. Well, your body is showing signs of strain too, Bulma said, pointing to another monitor. The integration process is taxing your cellular structure. Whatever those things did to you accelerated the deterioration. Goku swung his legs over the side of the bed. I don't have time to lie around. Kronos only gave me a month to stabilize this situation. And you've got about 27 days left, came Vegeta's voice from the doorway. Plenty of time to die from magical overload. Always the optimist, Goku grinned at his rival. Any word from Whis about visiting Beerus? He'll be here tomorrow, Vegeta confirmed. But there's something else you should know. While you were unconscious, 3 more dimensional tears appeared around the world. Goku's face fell. More of those void creatures. Nothing's come through yet, Bulma said. But they're growing. Whatever you did to close the first one, you might need to repeat. I'm not sure I can, Goku admitted. Not until the Dragon Balls recharge, at least. Then we need to find another solution, Vegeta stated flatly. Because next time, those creatures might bring friends. A small device on Bulma's desk began beeping urgently. She rushed over to check it, her expression darkening. Speaking of next time, she said, we've got activity at the Tear in East City. Something's coming through. Goku stood, steadying himself against the bed. I have to go. You're in no condition, Bulma began. Doesn't matter, Goku cut her off. This is happening because of me. I can't sit back while others fight my battles. Vegeta stepped forward. For once, I agree with your wife. You're no use to anyone if you collapse again. Let me handle this one. Before Goku could argue, the lab door burst open. Goten and Trunks tumbled in, faces flushed with excitement. Dad! Goten exclaimed. You're awake. We heard about the monsters. Trunks added. Are you going to fight them again? Goku looked at the eager young faces, then at Vegeta's stern expression, and finally at Bulma's concerned frown. He sighed. Vegeta's right, he admitted. I need to recover my strength. But, he added, turning to his rival, you'll call me if things get out of hand. The Scion Prince smirked. If things get out of hand, it means I'm dead, in which case you're welcome to take over. Dad! Trunks protested. We want to help too. Absolutely not, Bulma and Vegeta said in unison. Goku knelt before the boys. I have a more important job for you too. The Dragon Balls inside me are recharging, but it's happening slowly. I need you to help Bulma monitor them and let me know the instant they're back to full power. The boys looked skeptical but nodded reluctantly. And, Goku continued, if anything happens to me, you might be the ones who have to help figure out how to get the Dragon Balls back to normal. That means training hard and studying everything Bulma can teach you about them. This perspective, that they might be crucial to saving the world, seemed to satisfy them. Goten puffed out his chest importantly. We won't let you down, he promised. Vegeta headed for the door. I'll gather the others. Kakarot, focus on recovering. The last thing we need is you exploding and taking half the planet with you. After Vegeta left, Bulma turned to Goku. He's worried about you, you know. In his own Vegeta way. I know, Goku smiled weakly. And he's right to be worried. I can feel it, Bulma, the Dragon Balls aren't just giving me power, they're changing what I am at a fundamental level. Is Shenron taking over? She asked cautiously. Goku considered the question. Not exactly. It's more like, we're both becoming something new. Something neither of us fully understands yet. That sounds terrifying, Bulma said. Actually, Goku replied, watching the star marks on his chest pulse faintly, the scariest part is that it doesn't feel terrifying at all. It feels right. East City's sky blazed with unnatural light as Vegeta arrived with Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin. The dimensional tear hovered above the financial district, larger than the one in Satan City had been. This isn't good, Gohan observed. It's at least twice the size of the last one. And growing, Piccolo added, his keen eyes tracking the slow expansion of the rift. Unlike before, no creatures had emerged yet, but the tear pulsed with ominous energy. Occasionally, shadows moved within it, as if something was waiting just on the other side. "I don't get it," Krillin said. "Why aren't they coming through?" "They're waiting for something," Vegeta replied grimly. "Or someone." As if responding to his words, the tears suddenly expanded dramatically. A voice echoed from within, deep and resonant but distorted, as if speaking through water. "Son. Goku." It called. "Bring the dragon." Vegeta stepped forward, powering up to Super Saiyan Blue. "Goku isn't coming. You'll have to deal with me instead." Laughter rippled from the rift. "The prince, without a kingdom. You cannot stop the hunger." A massive form began to emerge, not the formless creatures from before, but something more substantial. A humanoid figure, tall and muscular with skin like polished obsidian. Purple light glowed from within cracks across its surface, and its eyes burned with the same hungry light as the smaller entities. "I am Void Walker," the being announced, its voice stronger now that it had fully materialized. "First emissary of the collective. Where is the dragon vessel?" "Not here," Vegeta smirked. "And you won't live long enough to find him." He launched forward with blinding speed, fist cocked back and wreathed in godly ki. The punch connected squarely with Void Walker's jaw, and did absolutely nothing. The being didn't even flinch. Physical attacks. How primitive. A casual backhand sent Vegeta flying through 3 buildings before he could recover. Masenko-J. Gohan unleashed his signature attack, pouring everything he had into the beam. Void Walker raised a hand, and the energy dissipated before reaching him. "The half-breed son," he observed. "Your energy tastes diluted. Try this on for size." Krillin formed a Destructo disc, but enhanced it with a technique he'd been developing. Spirit energy focused into the edges, making them sharper than normal. The disc flew true, slicing into Void Walker's shoulder, and actually cutting a shallow groove. The being looked at the wound with mild surprise as purple energy leaked from it. "Interesting," he mused. "Spirit energy has resonance with void matter." Piccolo, observing closely, immediately adjusted his strategy. Krillin. Again. "Everyone, focus your spirit energy, not just ki." Vegeta returned, bleeding from a cut above his eye but otherwise unharmed. "What nonsense is this? Ki is ki." "No," Piccolo explained rapidly as they dodged a pulse of purple energy from Void Walker. "Ki is life energy. Spirit energy has consciousness behind it, intent, emotion, will. It's not just power, it's purpose." Understanding dawned on Vegeta's face. He'd experienced this distinction before, when reaching God level. It wasn't just about power output but quality of energy. "Final flash," he roared, but instead of his usual technique, he poured not just his power but his pride, his determination, his very identity into the beam. The golden energy struck Void Walker directly in the chest, driving him back toward the rift. The being hissed in pain as cracks spread across his obsidian skin. "Now!" Piccolo shouted. All together. Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo launched their attacks simultaneously, each focusing their spirit into the energy. The combined assault pushed Void Walker further back, his feet leaving deep grooves in the street as he struggled against the onslaught. Enough. The emissary thrust both hands forward, releasing a wave of pure void energy. The attack disrupted their beams and sent all 4 defenders flying backward. Void Walker stalked forward, the damage to his form already regenerating. "You cannot defeat me," he stated matter-of-factly. "I am merely the first. The weakest. Soon the tier will widen enough for my brethren to join me." Vegeta climbed to his feet, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. "Then I'll just have to close your door." The Saiyan Prince flew upward, positioning himself above the dimensional tear. Energy gathered around him as he pushed his power to its absolute limit. "What's he doing?" Krillin asked, helping Gohan up. Something stupid, Piccolo answered, but there was respect in his voice. He's going to try to collapse the tear with raw power. Void. Walker realized Vegeta's intent and leaped upward to stop him. Gohan intercepted, catching the emissary in a full-body tackle that drove them both into the ground. Hurry, Vegeta! Gohan shouted as he traded blows with the increasingly frustrated Void Walker. Above, Vegeta's aura expanded to enormous proportions. The buildings below trembled from the pressure of his power. Gamma burst flash. The devastating attack wasn't aimed at Void Walker but at the tear itself. The concentrated energy struck the rift's center, pushing inward against the dimensional fabric. For a moment, nothing happened, then the edges of the tear began to contract. No! Void Walker broke free from Gohan and launched himself upward. Too late. The tear collapsed in on itself with a thunderous implosion, leaving only empty air where it had been. The backlash knocked everyone to the ground, including Vegeta, who fell from the sky unconscious from the massive energy expenditure. Void Walker stood alone, cut off from his dimension, his purple eyes burning with fury. You've merely delayed the inevitable, he snarled. The collective will come. The dragon vessel will feed us. And your world will become void. He vanished in a burst of purple energy, leaving the defenders battered but victorious, for now. We need to get Vegeta back to Capsule Corp, Gohan said, lifting the unconscious Saiyan Prince. And tell my father what we've learned. That spirit energy works against them? Krillin asked. That, Piccolo replied grimly, and that they're not giving up. This Void Walker is still on Earth, and he's looking for Goku. Night fell over Mount Paozu, but Goku couldn't sleep. He sat outside his home, watching the stars and feeling the Dragon Balls pulse slowly within him. Each beat sent a wave of awareness through his consciousness. He could sense things he never could before, connections between all living things, the fabric of reality itself. You are beginning to understand, Shenron observed. Understand what? Goku asked aloud, knowing no one was around to hear him talking to himself. What we are becoming. And what's that? A nexus. A center. A point where all things connect. Goku frowned. That doesn't sound like me at all. I'm just a fighter who likes to protect his friends and family. You were. We were. Now we are more. A rustle in the trees interrupted their conversation. Goku tensed, expecting an attack, but relaxed when he saw the distinctive outline of Piccolo's cape and turban. Sensing energy is getting harder with you, Piccolo commented as he approached. Your key signature is blurred somehow. The Dragon Balls are changing it, Goku explained, patting the ground beside him in invitation. How did it go in East City? Piccolo sat cross-legged next to his old rival. Vegeta closed the tear, but not before something came through. Something stronger than those formless creatures. He described the encounter with Void Walker and their discovery about spirit energy's effectiveness. So that's why my attacks worked on them, Goku mused. The Dragon Ball energy is pure spirit. It would seem so, Piccolo agreed. But this emissary is still out there, hunting for you. And Vegeta's recovery will take time. How is he? Unconscious, but stable. Bulma says he'll be back to his charming self in a day or two. Goku smiled at that. Good. We'll need him tomorrow when we visit Beerus. About that, Piccolo said carefully. Are you sure it's wise to leave Earth right now? With these dimensional tears appearing and Void Walker on the loose? I don't have much choice, Goku sighed. If I don't learn how to stabilize these Dragon Balls, the tears will keep appearing and getting worse. Besides, he added with a grin, you guys handled yourselves pretty well without me today. Piccolo's expression remained serious. There's something else you should know. While you were recovering, I meditated deeply, trying to access Kami's old memories about the Dragon Balls. Did you find anything? Fragments. Legends. There was a prophecy Kami once knew, about a day when the Dragon Balls would find their true master. Goku's eyes widened. Their true master. You think that's me? I don't know, Piccolo admitted. But the prophecy spoke of a warrior with a pure heart who would absorb the Dragon Balls during the celestial alignment and become a nexus of power. Nexus, Shenron's voice echoed in Goku's mind. The same word. Did the prophecy say what happens next? Goku asked. Piccolo shook his head. That's where Kami's knowledge ends. But there was one more detail: the warrior would face a choice that would determine the fate of all realities. Great, Goku groaned. No pressure or anything. They sat in silence for a moment, watching the stars. In the distance, a faint aurora flickered, another sign of the dimensional instability spreading across Earth. Goku, Piccolo said finally, using his proper name rather than his Saiyan designation. Are you afraid? The question caught Goku off guard. He considered it carefully. Not afraid exactly, he answered honestly. But I feel different. Like I'm still me, but also becoming something else. Something bigger. It's like when I first became a Super Saiyan, but more profound. And Shenron? Is he taking control? No, Goku shook his head. We're merging, but it's not like either of us is in charge. We're becoming something new together. Piccolo nodded, as if this confirmed something he'd suspected. Just remember who you are, Goku. Your strength has never been just about power, it's your heart that makes you who you are. Goku smiled at his former enemy, now one of his closest friends. Thanks, Piccolo. I won't forget. As Piccolo stood to leave, Goku felt a sudden spike of energy, familiar yet distorted. He jumped to his feet. Do you feel that? Piccolo tensed. No. What is it? It's... Goku's eyes widened. It's Gohan. He's in danger. Without waiting for a response, Goku placed 2 fingers to his forehead and vanished. Gohan crashed through the wall of his study, books and papers flying everywhere. He'd barely sensed the attack coming. One moment he was reviewing research on dimensional theory, the next a blast of purple energy had sent him flying. Void Walker stepped through the hole in the wall, his obsidian form gleaming in the moonlight. The son leads to the father, he stated calmly. Your energy signature is similar enough to track. Gohan climbed to his feet, grateful that Videl and Pan were visiting Mr. Satan for the night. If you're looking for my dad, he's not here. But he will come for you, Void Walker replied. The dragon vessel's attachment to offspring is a known weakness. You've done your homework, Gohan acknowledged, subtly shifting into a fighting stance. But you're making a mistake if you think I need my father to rescue me. With a burst of power, Gohan transformed, his hair turning golden and his aura blazing. He'd let his training slip in recent years, but the power of a Super Saiyan still coursed through him. Void Walker seemed unimpressed. The half-breed shows his fangs. But you are not what I seek. Too bad, Gohan replied, then launched forward with blinding speed. His fist connected with Void Walker's jaw, this time powered by the spirit energy Piccolo had described. The impact actually rocked the emissary back, creating a new crack in his obsidian skin. You've learned, Void Walker observed. But knowledge without power is insufficient. The emissary counterattacked, moving faster than Gohan anticipated. A barrage of strikes overwhelmed Gohan's defenses, each hit feeling like it was draining his very life force as well as causing physical damage. Gohan crashed through another wall, landing in the kitchen. Blood trickled from a cut on his forehead, but he forced himself back up. If he could just hold out long enough to power up fully. Your resistance is admirable, Void Walker said, advancing slowly. But the collective has consumed beings far stronger than you. Your energy will sustain me until the dragon vessel arrives. He has a name, Gohan grunted, gathering his power. It's Son Goku. And you're right about one thing, he will come. I'm counting on it, the emissary replied, raising a hand crackling with void energy. Before he could release the attack, the air between them shimmered, and Goku appeared with Piccolo right behind him. "Dad!" Gohan exclaimed. Void Walker's purple eyes flared with excitement. The dragon vessel. At last. Goku took in the scene in an instant, his son injured, their home damaged, the obsidian figure radiating malevolent energy. "You must be Void Walker," Goku said, his voice calm but edged with steel. "Piccolo told me about you. And I know all about you, son Goku," the emissary replied. "The 7 Dragon Balls nestled within your flesh call to us across dimensions. Their power will feed the collective for eons." "Sorry, but they're not on the menu," Goku replied, stepping forward. The star marks on his chest glowed faintly through his GI, recovered somewhat, but not at full strength. Void Walker sensed this weakness. "You're depleted from closing the first rift." "Perfect." He moved with startling speed, aiming directly for Goku's chest. Piccolo intercepted, his arm elongating to grab the emissary's wrist. "Go!" Piccolo shouted to Goku. "Get Gohan out of here. You're not at full power yet." Goku hesitated, torn between helping his friends and avoiding a fight he might not be able to win. "Listen to him, Dad," Gohan urged, struggling to his feet. "That thing absorbs energy on contact. If it touches the Dragon Balls while they're weak." The decision was made for him as Void Walker broke free from Piccolo's grip and fired a blast of void energy directly at Goku. Acting on instinct, Goku raised his hand, and the energy stopped mid-air, contained within a golden sphere. "What?" Void Walker's confidence faltered for the first time. Goku looked as surprised as everyone else. "I didn't know I could do that." "The Dragon Balls protect themselves," Shenron explained within his mind. Even weakened, they recognize the threat. With a flick of his wrist, Goku sent the contained void energy back at its creator. Void Walker dodged, but the distraction gave Piccolo an opening to land a powerful kick that sent the emissary crashing through what remained of Gohan's study. "We need to go," Goku decided, placing one hand on Gohan's shoulder and extending the other to Piccolo. "He's right about one thing, I'm not at full strength yet." Piccolo grabbed Goku's outstretched hand just as Void Walker emerged from the rubble, his obsidian form now showing multiple cracks from which purple energy leaked. "You cannot escape," the emissary snarled. The collective always, they vanished before he could finish, leaving Void Walker alone in the destroyed house, his purple eyes burning with frustration and hunger. "Finds its prey," he finished to the empty room. The emissary surveyed the destruction, then closed his eyes, sending his consciousness outward. The vessel was masking his energy signature now, making him difficult to track directly. But there were other ways to find one's quarry. Void Walker reached into a crack in his chest and removed a small shard of his own obsidian form. He placed it on the ground, where it pulsed with purple energy before expanding and reshaping itself into a smaller version of himself. "Find the female and child connected to this dwelling," he instructed his replica. "The vessel will come for them eventually." The smaller Void Walker nodded and phased through the floor, disappearing into the earth below. The original emissary then turned his attention to a family photograph that had survived the destruction, son Goku surrounded by friends and family. So many connections, he mused. So many vulnerabilities. He touched the image, absorbing the emotional energy lingering within it, love, happiness, belonging. Such concepts were foreign to the Void Collective, but useful for understanding prey. "The Dragon Balls protect you, son Goku," Void Walker said to the smiling image. "But they cannot protect everyone you love." The next morning found Goku, Gohan, and Piccolo at Capsule Corp, explaining the night's events to Bulma and a recently awakened Vegeta. "So now this Void Walker is hunting you personally," Bulma summarized, her fingers flying over a keyboard as she updated her security systems. "And he can track your energy signature." "Or Gohan's, apparently," Piccolo added. "Family connections seem to leave an energy trail he can follow." Vegeta, looking paler than usual but otherwise recovered, scowled from his seat. And you ran away instead of destroying him. I wasn't sure I could, Goku admitted. The Dragon Balls are still recharging, and from what you guys experienced in East City, this isn't an enemy to take lightly. So what's the plan? Bulma asked. Hide out here until you're back to full strength? Goku shook his head. We stick to our original plan. Whis should be here soon to take us to Beerus's world. If anyone has information about stabilizing the Dragon Balls inside me, it'll be in their divine archives. And while you're off-world, what about the rest of us? Gohan asked. Void Walker is still out there, and he might go after Mom or Goten next. I've already called Chi-Chi, Bulma said. She and Goten are on their way here. With the new security system I've designed, even a dimensional being will have trouble breaking in. And what about Pan and Videl? Gohan asked, concern evident in his voice. They'll come here too, Bulma assured him. I've sent a Capsule Corp helicopter to pick them up from Satan's place. Everyone will be safer together. Goku nodded his appreciation. Thanks, Bulma. We shouldn't be gone more than a day or two. Unless Beerus decides to nap, Vegeta muttered. Then it could be weeks. A familiar voice called from the garden outside. I heard that, Prince Vegeta. They turned to see Whis standing on the lawn, staff in hand and a slight smile on his face. Ah, right on time, Bulma said, leading everyone outside. Whis surveyed the group, his eyes lingering on Goku's chest where the star marks glowed faintly through his GI. The integration progresses, he observed. Faster than expected. Is that good or bad? Goku asked. It simply is, Whis replied cryptically. Are you ready to depart? Lord Beerus is actually awake for once, though his mood leaves something to be desired. When doesn't it? Vegeta grumbled, but stepped forward to join them. Goku turned to Gohan. Take care of everyone while I'm gone. And be careful, Void Walker isn't like our usual enemies. He's not after power or conquest, he's hungry. I understand, Gohan nodded. Just find what you need to stabilize those Dragon Balls. We'll handle things here. Piccolo approached. I'm staying to help protect the others. Between all of us, we should be able to hold off one emissary, no matter how powerful. Goku clasped forearms with his old friend. Thanks, Piccolo. Touching as this is, Whis interrupted gently, we should depart before Lord Beerus becomes impatient. Goku and Vegeta moved to stand beside the angel. As they prepared to leave, Chi-Chi's car pulled into the Capsule Corp compound. Goku caught his wife's eye through the windshield, offering a reassuring smile that he didn't entirely feel. Let's go, he said to Whis. The angel tapped his staff, and a beam of light engulfed the three of them. In an instant, they were gone, shooting upward toward the realm of the gods. Behind them, unnoticed by anyone, a small purple spark flickered briefly in the shadow of a nearby building, watching, waiting, reporting back to its master. The journey to Beerus's world was as disorienting as ever, reality blurring around them as Whis transported them across vast cosmic distances. When they finally arrived, Goku was surprised to find not just Beerus waiting for them, but other familiar faces as well. Supreme Kai and Old Kai stood beside the god of destruction, their expressions grave. Even the oracle fish floated nearby, its usually cryptic demeanor replaced by open curiosity. So, Beerus drawled, his cat-like eyes fixed on Goku's chest, you've gone and turned yourself into a walking catastrophe. Again. It wasn't exactly intentional, Goku protested. It never is with you, Beerus sighed. The question is what to do about it now. Supreme Kai stepped forward. The absorption of all 7 Dragon Balls by a living being is unprecedented, Goku. It's causing ripples throughout the cosmos. Not just ripples, Old Kai added. More like tidal waves. The Dragon Balls were designed to be scattered, not concentrated in one vessel. Goku looked between them. So you know how to get them out of me safely? The gods exchanged glances. Not exactly, Supreme Kai admitted. But the ancient texts in Lord Zeno's divine library might hold answers. Which is why, Whis interjected smoothly, I've taken the liberty of borrowing certain relevant scrolls. He tapped his staff, and a large ornate chest appeared before them. When it opened, scrolls of various sizes and materials floated out, arranging themselves in the air. These contain the collected knowledge of Dragon Ball creation and purpose throughout the multiverse, Whis explained. Some date back to before recorded history. Great, Vegeta said impatiently. Let's start reading then. Old Kai shook his head. It's not that simple, young Scion. These texts are written in the divine language. Only gods can interpret them fully. Then you read them, Goku suggested. We've been trying, Supreme Kai said with a hint of frustration. But the knowledge is selective. It reveals itself based on need and worthiness. Which means, Beerus added with a yawn, that since you're the one with Dragon Balls inside you, you're probably the only one who can unlock the relevant passages. Goku approached the floating scrolls cautiously. But if I can't read the divine language? We can. Shenron's voice resonated more clearly than ever within Goku's mind. The dragon knows the language of the gods. We will see what others cannot. Goku relayed this to the others. The dragon within you can interpret the texts. Old Kai looked shocked. That's, actually quite logical. Shenron was created by the Namekians, but his essence draws from divine knowledge. Goku reached for the nearest scroll, a golden tablet that seemed to shift and change as he looked at it. The moment his fingers touched it, the star marks on his chest flared brightly, and knowledge flooded into his mind. Images, words, concepts too vast for mortal comprehension crashed through his consciousness like a tidal wave. He staggered backward, nearly falling. Kakarot. Vegeta moved to support him. I'm okay, Goku gasped. It's just a lot to process. Focus on the question, Shenron instructed. Seek the knowledge of integration, not all knowledge. Goku steadied himself and reached for the tablet again, this time with a clear purpose in mind, how to stabilize the Dragon Balls within his body. The flood of information narrowed to a manageable stream. Symbols on the tablet rearranged themselves, forming patterns that made sense to him on an intuitive level. I see it, he murmured. The prophecy Piccolo mentioned, about the Dragon Balls finding their true master. What prophecy? Supreme Kai asked sharply. According to Piccolo, there was an ancient prediction that someday the Dragon Balls would be absorbed by a pure-hearted warrior during a celestial alignment, Vegeta explained, watching Goku carefully. And this has happened before? Beerus asked, suddenly more alert. Goku shook his head, still studying the tablet. No, we're the first. But it was foreseen. The tablet calls it the ascension of the dragon host. Host. Old Kai repeated. That doesn't sound permanent. It's not supposed to be, Goku confirmed as more information became clear to him. The Dragon Balls were created as separate entities to maintain balance, but they were always meant to eventually find a worthy vessel to achieve their true purpose. Which is? Whis prompted gently. Goku looked up, his eyes briefly flashing gold. To create a bridge between mortal reality and divine power. A nexus point where wishes and truth intersect. Beerus narrowed his eyes. Was that you talking, or the dragon? Both, Goku answered honestly. We're becoming more integrated. He reached for another scroll, this one made of what appeared to be crystallized light. As he touched it, his body began to glow from within, the star marks pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. The stabilization process requires harmony between host and dragon, Goku continued, his voice taking on a dual quality, his own overlaid with deeper, resonant tones. Not domination of one over the other, but true fusion of purpose. And how exactly is that achieved? Vegeta demanded, looking increasingly concerned about the changes in his rival. Goku set down the crystal scroll and picked up a third document, this one a simple cloth scroll that seemed older than time itself. Through trials, he answered as the knowledge revealed itself. 3 specific challenges that test the worthiness of the host and the compatibility of the union. What kind of trials? Supreme Kai asked. The trial of body, where physical limitations are transcended. The trial of mind, where understanding surpasses knowledge. And the trial of spirit, where the true nature of wishes is revealed. Beerus groaned. Why is it always trials? Can't anything in this universe be straightforward? Actually, Whis interjected. Thoughtfully, this makes perfect sense. The Dragon Balls represent balance between mortal desire and cosmic limitation. Their true vessel would need to embody that same balance. Goku continued reading, absorbing information at an accelerated rate as Shenron's consciousness helped interpret the divine texts. Suddenly, he froze, his expression darkening. What is it? Vegeta demanded. What did you find? The Void Collective, Goku said quietly. They're in here too. The gods exchanged alarmed glances. That's concerning, Supreme Kai said carefully. You know about them? Vegeta asked sharply. Beerus sighed. The Void Collective is one of the oldest threats in the multiverse. They exist between dimensions, feeding on magical energy. Normally, they're contained by the barriers between realities. But the absence of the Dragon Balls has weakened those barriers, Whis finished. Creating tiers they can exploit. It's worse than that, Goku said grimly, still reading the ancient text. They've been trying to reach the Dragon Balls for millennia. They're drawn to their energy like moths to flame. And now all 7 are concentrated in one convenient package, Vegeta muttered. You. Goku nodded. According to this, the Void Collective is governed by a hierarchy of increasingly powerful entities. Void Walker is just the first level, an emissary sent to assess the situation. So there are stronger ones waiting to come through? Supreme Kai asked worriedly. Much stronger, Goku confirmed. And they won't stop until they've consumed the Dragon Balls completely. Then we destroy this Void Walker before he can report back, Beerus stated flatly. Problem solved. Goku shook his head. He's already reporting back. I can feel it, the Dragon Balls sense the void energy growing on Earth. Then we need to hurry with these trials, Vegeta said. How do we start them? Goku carefully set down the scrolls and turned to face the assembled gods. The trials aren't separate challenges to overcome. They're already underway, have been since the moment I absorbed the Dragon Balls. What do you mean? Supreme Kai asked. The trial of body began with the absorption itself, my physical form adapting to contain divine power. The trial of mind is happening now, as I learn to interpret divine knowledge through Shenron's guidance. And the trial of spirit? Old Kai prompted. Goku's expression grew serious. That's the final test, and the most dangerous. According to the texts, I'll face a moment where the true nature of wishes is revealed. A choice that will determine whether the union is worthy or not. Well, that's helpfully vague, Beerus grumbled. A sudden spike of pain shot through Goku's body, causing him to double over. The star marks on his chest flared brightly, then dimmed alarmingly. Kakarot. Vegeta moved to support him. Something's wrong, Goku gasped. On Earth, the Dragon Balls sense it. The void is growing stronger. Whis tapped his staff, creating a viewing portal in midair. The image showed Capsule Corp, surrounded by a swirling darkness. Multiple dimensional tiers had opened around the compound, and shadowy figures were attempting to break through Bulma's defensive shields. That's not good, Supreme Kai understated. We need to go back, Goku said, struggling to his feet. Now. Beerus stepped forward. You haven't completed the knowledge transfer. The stabilization process, will have to wait, Goku cut him off, a rare moment of defiance against the god of destruction. My family is in danger. The cat-like god studied him for a moment, then nodded. Very well. But take the scrolls with you. You'll need them to complete the trial of mind. Whis waved his staff, and the divine texts shrunk down to miniature versions of themselves, fitting neatly into a small pouch which he handed to Goku. The answers you seek are within these texts, the angel said. But remember, knowledge without understanding is meaningless. I understand that my friends need me, Goku replied, the star marks beginning to pulse more strongly as he focused on the danger to his loved ones. Vegeta moved to stand beside him, ready for transport. One more thing, Beerus said, his tone unusually serious. The Void Collective cannot be destroyed conventionally. They exist as much between realities as within them. So how do we stop them? Vegeta demanded. That, the god of destruction replied, is what your third trial will reveal, son Goku. Before Goku could ask for clarification, Whis tapped his staff, and the transportation beam engulfed them. As they shot back toward Earth, Goku focused on the faces of his family and friends, determination hardening within him. Whatever trials awaited, whatever choices he would face, one thing remained certain, he would protect those he loved, even if it cost him everything. Little did he know how prophetic that thought would prove to be. Chapter 2, The Corruption. The transportation beam streaked through dimensional space, carrying Goku and Vegeta back toward Earth at impossible speeds. Usually, Goku enjoyed these journeys, marveling at the cosmos racing past. Not this time. Every second felt like an eternity with his family and friends in danger. Can't this thing go any faster, he muttered, the star marks on his chest pulsing with anxious energy. Vegeta shot him a sidelong glance. Worried, Kakarot? You saw what was happening. Those tears were surrounding Capsule Corporation. Bulma's defenses are the best on the planet, Vegeta replied, though the tension in his jaw betrayed his own concern. It's not just the tears, Goku said quietly. I can feel Void Walker's energy growing. He's found something, or someone, to amplify his power. Before Vegeta could respond, they burst through the dimensional barrier back into Earth's atmosphere. The scene below confirmed their worst fears. Capsule Corp stood at the center of a swirling vortex of darkness. Multiple tiers in reality orbited the compound like hungry mouths, pulsing with void energy. The building's defensive shields, Bulma's latest innovation, flickered under constant assault from shadowy entities. On the ground, the Z-fighters battled to keep the perimeter secure. Piccolo and Gohan stood back to back, firing concentrated spirit energy at formless creatures that seemed to multiply with each defeat. Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha guarded another section, their coordinated attacks barely holding the line. There. Vegeta pointed to the main entrance, where a familiar obsidian figure stood, Void Walker, only now nearly twice the size he'd been before, purple energy crackling around him like lightning. Beside him stood several human figures, but something was wrong with them. Their eyes glowed with the same hungry purple light as the void creatures, and their movements were jerky, unnatural. He's possessed people, Goku realized with horror as they descended rapidly. Void walkers using them as anchors to this dimension. They landed in a courtyard where Piccolo immediately spotted them. About time you showed up. Status report, Vegeta demanded, already powering up to Super Saiyan Blue. Not good, Piccolo grunted, blasting another void creature. These tears started appearing an hour ago. Then Void Walker showed up with those people. Who are they? Goku asked, focusing on the possessed humans. Gohan landed beside them, breathing heavily from exertion. That's the thing, Dad, they're all former wishmakers. People who've used the Dragon Balls in the past. The realization hit Goku like a physical blow. He's using their connection to the Dragon Balls to track them inside me. And to strengthen his own connection, Piccolo added. Each person he's corrupted makes him more powerful. Void Walker's voice boomed across the courtyard. Dragon Vessel. You return at last. I was beginning to think you'd abandoned your precious humans to their fate. Let those people go. Goku shouted. Your fight is with me. The emissary laughed, the sound reverberating with unnatural harmonics. These mortals are merely conduits. Their prior contact with the Dragon Balls has left them, receptive to our influence. Goku's eyes narrowed as he studied the situation. The possessed humans, 5 in total, stood in a pentagonal formation around Void Walker, purple energy flowing from them into his obsidian form. Behind them, the Capsule Corp building's shields were weakening with each assault. Everyone I care about is in that building, Goku said, his voice hardening. This ends now. He focused inward, connecting with the Dragon Balls embedded in his chest. They had recharged significantly since his visit to Beerus's world, the divine knowledge accelerating their recovery. Caution, Shenron's voice warned within his mind. The void feeds on magical energy. Direct confrontation fuels it. Then what do I do? Goku asked silently. Sever the connections. Free the anchors. Understanding dawned. Goku turned to the others. We need to free those people from Void Walker's control. They're amplifying his power and helping him track the Dragon Balls. How exactly do we do that? Krillin asked, joining their huddle. We can't exactly beat the possession out of them. No, Goku agreed, but we can disrupt the energy flow. He quickly outlined a plan. Vegeta scoffed but nodded grudgingly. It might work. Assuming you can handle Void Walker long enough for us to break his hold on the humans. I'll manage, Goku said, the star marks on his chest beginning to glow brighter. Gohan looked concerned. Dad, are you sure about this? You're still not fully recovered. I don't need to be at full power to be a distraction, Goku grinned. That's one thing I've always been good at. Without waiting for further discussion, Goku stepped forward into the open space between the Z-Fighters and Void Walker. The emissary's purple eyes fixed on him hungrily. Finally embracing your destiny as our feast? Void Walker asked, his voice rumbling with anticipation. Just wanted a closer look at what I'm dealing with, Goku replied casually, stretching his arms as if preparing for a light workout. You've gotten bigger since our last meeting. Overcompensating for something? The taunt had its intended effect. Void Walker's eyes flared with anger. Your arrogance will make your power all the sweeter when we consume it. Big talk from someone hiding behind possessed humans, Goku countered, taking another step forward. Afraid to face me directly? Behind him, he sensed his friends spreading out according to plan. Vegeta and Piccolo circling left, Gohan and Krillin right, Tien and Yamcha preparing to attack from above when the moment came. Void Walker raised a massive obsidian hand, purple energy gathering in his palm. Your primitive provocations are transparent, Dragon Vessel. Yeah, well, so is this, Goku suddenly brought his hands to his face. Solar Flare. A blinding flash of light erupted, but unlike his usual technique, this one was infused with golden Dragon Ball energy. The light struck the purple connections between Void Walker and his human anchors like physical blows, disrupting the energy flow. Now! Goku shouted. The Z-Fighters launched into action. Vegeta and Piccolo targeted the two possessed humans on the left, striking with precision blows aimed not to injure but to sever the purple energy tethers connecting them to Void Walker. Gohan and Krillin did the same on the right, while Tien and Yamcha descended from above to tackle the fifth human directly behind the emissary. No! Void Walker roared, lashing out with tendrils of void energy, but Goku was already in front of him, intercepting the attack. Your fight's with me, remember? Goku taunted, catching a void tendril in his bare hand. The contact sent pain shooting up his arm, but the Dragon Ball's energy formed a protective layer between his skin and the corrupting void. Around them, the plan was working. One by one, the Z-Fighters broke the connections between Void Walker and his human anchors. With each severed link, the emissary's form destabilized slightly, cracks appearing across his obsidian surface. You understand nothing. Void Walker snarled, his voice losing some of its resonance as his power diminished. These connections are merely the beginning. The collective has marked every wish ever made. He lunged at Goku, moving with surprising speed despite his weakening state. His massive fist connected with Goku's crossed arms, the impact sending shockwaves across the courtyard. Goku skidded backward but remained standing. Maybe so, but your anchors here are done. The last human fell unconscious as Yamcha broke the final connection. All five lay on the ground, the purple glow fading from their eyes as they returned to normal. Void Walker's form contracted, shrinking back to his original size. The dimensional tiers surrounding Capsule Corp began to destabilize, their edges flickering. You think this victory matters? The emissary growled. I am but the first wave. Even now, the Void Lords stir, sensing the Dragon Ball's power. They will come, and they will feast. Not if I seal you back where you came from first, Goku replied, drawing on the Dragon Ball's energy. Golden light surrounded his form as he prepared to replicate what he'd done in Satan City, create a network of energy to close the dimensional tiers. The star marks on his chest blazed with renewed power, fueled by the divine knowledge he'd absorbed from the scrolls. But Void Walker wasn't retreating. Instead, he smiled, a terrible expression on his obsidian face. Exactly as anticipated, he whispered. Before Goku could react, Void Walker launched himself forward, not attacking but embracing Goku. Their bodies collided, and instead of bouncing off, the emissary's obsidian form began to flow like liquid, enveloping Goku's chest where the Dragon Balls resided. Pain beyond anything Goku had experienced tore through his body. It wasn't physical agony but something deeper, the sensation of his very essence being invaded. What are you doing? He gasped, struggling to break free from the semi-liquid embrace. Taking what belongs to the void, Void Walker replied, his voice now coming from inside Goku's mind as well as outside. Your body houses the Dragon Balls, but your soul cannot contain them forever. We will consume them from within. Goku fell to his knees as void energy began to seep between the star marks on his chest, reaching for the Dragon Balls embedded there. Dad! Gohan shouted, rushing toward them. Stay back. Goku managed to warn through clenched teeth. He'll try to possess you too. He seeks entry through your consciousness, Shenron's voice thundered within Goku's mind. We must retreat to the inner realm. The what? Goku thought back frantically. The space between mortal and divine. Where we joined. Before Goku could question further, he felt himself being pulled inward, his consciousness separating from his physical form. His body remained kneeling in the courtyard, now rigid and unresponsive, while his mind plunged into darkness. Vegeta reached Goku's side first, only to find him unmoving, eyes open but unseeing. Void Walker's physical form had mostly merged with Goku's body, only his face remaining distinct, protruding obscenely from Goku's chest like a grotesque second head. Kakarot. Vegeta grabbed his rival's shoulders, shaking him. No response. Gohan joined him, panic evident in his expression. What's happening to him? Possession, Piccolo answered grimly, studying the bizarre fusion before them. Void Walker is attempting to take control from within. We have to help him. Krillin exclaimed. Piccolo shook his head. This isn't a physical battle anymore. It's happening inside Goku's mind. We can't reach him there. So we just stand here and do nothing? Vegeta snarled. We protect his body while he fights, Piccolo replied. And we close those tiers before anything worse comes through. The dimensional rifts surrounding Capsule Corp had begun to stabilize again, their edges solidifying without Void Walker actively maintaining them. How do we close them without Goku's Dragon Ball power? Tien asked. Vegeta straightened, his aura flaring blue with God Ki. The same way I did in East City. Raw power focused at the weak points. That nearly killed you last time, Yamcha pointed out. Then it's a good thing there are more of us now, Vegeta retorted. Each of us takes one tear. Hit it with everything you've got. Spirit energy, not just ki. As the others moved to position themselves around the dimensional tiers, Gohan remained by his father's side, unwilling to leave him vulnerable. Go, Piccolo told him. I'll guard your father. This is what you've trained for. After a moment's hesitation, Gohan nodded and joined the others, leaving Piccolo alone with Goku's possessed form. The Namekian looked down at his old rival, now locked in an internal battle none of them could assist with. Fight, Goku, he said quietly. Whatever's happening in there, don't let it win. Inside his mind, Goku fell through layers of consciousness, passing memories and fragments of his life that streaked by like shooting stars. He saw himself as a child, discovering his power, as a young man, facing Piccolo for the first time, as a father, holding Gohan, as a warrior, transforming into a Super Saiyan. Then he passed beyond these personal memories into something vaster, Shenron's consciousness, ancient and powerful, filled with the accumulated knowledge of countless wishes granted across millennia. Finally, he landed in a strange landscape, not quite physical, not quite imaginary. A vast plain stretched in all directions, the ground beneath his feet a swirling mixture of golden Dragon Ball energy and his own blue ki. Standing before him was Void Walker, his obsidian form more defined here than in the physical world. Purple cracks ran across his surface, leaking void energy into this mental realm. Impressive, the emissary acknowledged, looking around. Most beings have no inner realm so cohesive. The dragon's influence, I assume. What is this place? Goku asked, finding he could speak normally despite being in a mental landscape. The battleground where I will claim the Dragon Balls, Void Walker replied simply. Your consciousness merged with the dragons creates this, interesting space. Perfect for extraction. You keep using that word, Goku said, dropping into a fighting stance. But you haven't managed to extract anything yet. Void Walker laughed, the sound echoing unnaturally across the plain. Physical combat in a mental realm? How primitive. Here, will shapes reality. And my will is stronger than yours, Dragon Vessel. To demonstrate, the emissary raised a hand. The ground beneath Goku liquefied, attempting to swallow him. Goku leapt upward, only to find the very air solidifying around him like concrete. See. Void Walker approached casually as Goku struggled against the solidified air. Your thinking is too physical. Too limited. He is correct, Shenron's voice resonated around them. But he underestimates our union. A golden glow emanated from Goku's chest, and the constraining air shattered like glass. He dropped back to solid ground, understanding flowing through him from Shenron's consciousness. You're right about one thing, Goku said, straightening. This isn't a physical fight. He closed his eyes briefly, connecting more deeply with the dragon's ancient knowledge. When he opened them again, the landscape had shifted. The plain was now dotted with 7 pillars of light, each corresponding to one of the Dragon Balls embedded in his chest. What is this? Void Walker demanded, his confidence faltering. My will shaping reality, Goku answered simply. You're in my mind, remember. My rules. The emissary snarled and thrust both hands forward, sending a wave of void energy across the plain. Instead of dodging, Goku stood his ground, extending a hand. The void wave parted around him like water around a stone. Impossible, Void Walker whispered. No mortal resists the void. I told you before, I'm not sure I qualify as just a mortal anymore. Goku took a step forward, and the ground solidified beneath his foot while liquefying under Void Walkers, causing the emissary to sink slightly. For the first time, uncertainty flickered in those purple eyes. The collective will not be denied, Void Walker insisted, struggling to free himself from the softened ground. We have consumed magical energies across 1,000 dimensions. The Dragon Balls are merely the richest feast. See, that's your problem, Goku said, continuing to advance calmly. You see the Dragon Balls as food. Power to be consumed. You don't understand what they really are. Enlighten me, Void Walker sneered, finally pulling free and backing away. Goku gestured to the 7 pillars of light surrounding them. They're not just sources of magical energy. They're connections, bridges between desire and possibility. Between mortal wishes and divine reality. With each word, Goku's confidence in this inner realm grew. The knowledge from the divine scrolls flowed through him, merging with Shenron's consciousness and his own intuitive understanding. And what exactly does that make you? Void Walker demanded. Their protector. Their vessel. Their slave. The question struck deeper than the emissary could know. It was the same uncertainty that had been growing in Goku's mind since the absorption. What was he becoming? A container? A tool? Something else entirely? Neither master nor servant, Shenron's voice answered, resonating from the pillars of light. But partner. The word settled into Goku's consciousness with perfect clarity. Not dominance of one over the other, but true fusion of purpose, exactly what the scrolls had described as necessary for stabilization. I'm their partner, Goku said aloud, and power surged through him as the truth of it resonated across his being. And partners protect each other. The 7 pillars of light began to rotate around them, gaining speed until they formed a continuous circle. Void Walker hissed, backing away from the intensifying light. You cannot expel me so easily, the emissary warned. I've established a foothold in your consciousness. Where I go, others will follow. I'm not trying to expel you, Goku replied, his voice overlaid with Shenron's deeper tones as the partnership between them strengthened. I'm trying to show you something. The rotating light suddenly contracted, surrounding both Goku and Void Walker in a golden sphere. Within this space, images began to appear, every wish ever granted by the Dragon Balls. Lives saved. Worlds restored. Hope given when all seemed lost. This is what you want to consume, Goku said quietly. Not just power, but hope. Dreams. Second chances. Void Walker writhed within the sphere of memories, each image of a granted wish seeming to cause him physical pain. Stop this, he demanded, his obsidian form cracking further. You wanted the essence of the Dragon Balls, Goku continued relentlessly. This is it. Not just magic, but meaning. Can the void consume that too? The emissary screamed, a sound of frustration and hunger mingled with something unexpected, envy. The void consumes all, he insisted, but his voice held doubt. Goku stepped closer, understanding dawning. You're not just hungry for power. The void collective envies what it can't have, connection. Purpose. Belonging. Void Walker's purple eyes widened in shock at being so thoroughly understood. Then narrowed in fury. Enough philosophy, he snarled. If I cannot extract the Dragon Balls by will alone, I shall take your consciousness with them. He lunged forward, his form shifting into a swirling vortex of void energy aimed directly at Goku's center. This was no longer an attempt at possession but at complete absorption, to consume Goku's entire being along with the Dragon Balls. Instinctively, Goku raised his hands in defense, but physical gestures meant little in this mental landscape. The void energy engulfed him, cold and hungry, pulling at his very sense of self. Focus, Shenron commanded. Remember the trial of mind. Understanding surpasses knowledge. Understanding. Not just knowing what the Dragon Balls were, but truly comprehending their purpose, and by extension, his own new purpose as their partner. Within the swirling void attempting to consume him, Goku centered himself. The star pattern on his chest, present even in this mental realm, began to glow with blinding intensity. Each mark pulsed with a different aspect of the Dragon Ball's true nature, hope. Renewal. Balance. Connection. Possibility. Consequence. Harmony. Together, they formed something greater than the sum of their parts, just as his partnership with Shenron was becoming something beyond either of them alone. I understand now, Goku whispered, and the words carried the weight of truth. Golden light erupted from his body, not attacking the void but simply existing in perfect opposition to it. Where void sought to consume, this light sought to connect. Where void created emptiness, this light created possibility. Void Walker shrieked as his essence was pushed back by this fundamental opposition of nature. What is this power? It's not about power, Goku replied calmly. It's about purpose. With that simple truth resonating through his entire being, Goku extended his hands. The golden light spread outward in all directions, filling the mental landscape and pushing back the void with implacable certainty. Void Walker's form began to fragment, pieces of his obsidian body breaking away like shards of glass. This isn't over, he warned, his voice fading. The collective knows the Dragon Balls exist within you now. The Void Lords will come. And after them, the Master. I'll be waiting, Goku promised. With a final cry of frustration, Void Walker's presence shattered completely, expelled from Goku's consciousness. The fragments of void energy dissipated, leaving Goku alone in the mental landscape with the 7 pillars of light slowly rotating around him. The second trial is complete, Shenron announced, his voice now perfectly clear within Goku's mind. The trial of mind is past. What happens now? Goku asked. We return. Stronger than before. More united than before. The mental landscape began to dissolve around him, the golden light intensifying until it consumed everything. Goku felt himself being pulled upward, back through the layers of consciousness, toward his physical form. The last thing he heard before returning was Shenron's warning, the third trial approaches. The trial of spirit. The hardest of all. In the physical world, only minutes had passed, though it felt like hours to those watching Goku's possessed form. The Z-Fighters had managed to close 3 of the 5-dimensional tiers, but the effort had left them drained. Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo continued the struggle while the others recovered. Suddenly, Goku's body jerked violently. Golden light erupted from his chest, engulfing the grotesque face of Void Walker that protruded there. The emissary's features contorted in agony as he was forcibly expelled from Goku's body. He's doing it. Krillin shouted. He's fighting it off. With a final pulse of golden energy, Void Walker was completely separated, his obsidian form thrown backward across the courtyard. Where he had merged with Goku's chest, the 7 star marks now glowed with renewed brilliance, perfectly aligned in their circular pattern. Goku's eyes cleared, awareness returning as he stood under his own power once more. His aura had changed, still predominantly his familiar blue ki, but now with threads of golden Dragon Ball energy woven throughout. Kakarot? Vegeta called cautiously, landing nearby. Goku looked at his rival and smiled, his usual carefree grin, though his eyes held new depths. I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. Across the courtyard, Void Walker struggled to his feet, his obsidian form riddled with golden cracks. Purple energy leaked from these wounds as he glared at Goku with undisguised hatred. This victory is temporary, the emissary spat. You've merely delayed the inevitable. Maybe, Goku acknowledged, stepping forward. The Dragon Balls in his chest pulsed with power that felt different from before, more integrated, more controlled. But I understand you better now. I understand what the Void truly wants. Void Walker's purple eyes widened slightly. You understand nothing, mortal. I understand enough, Goku replied. He raised a hand toward the remaining dimensional tiers. Golden energy flowed from his palm, weaving a complex pattern in the air, similar to what he'd done in Satan City, but with greater precision and less effort. The tiers began to close, their edges knitting together seamlessly. Void Walker watched with growing alarm as his connections to his home dimension were systematically severed. What are you doing? He demanded. Giving you a choice, Goku answered calmly. Return to the Void Collective now, while one tier remains open, or stay here, cut off from your masters, but free to find your own path. The emissary stared at him in confusion. What trickery is this? You offer me freedom. Everyone deserves a chance to change, Goku said simply. Even you. Void Walker's expression shifted through several emotions: rage, confusion, fear, and finally, calculation. And if I choose to stay? To continue hunting the Dragon Balls within you? Then we'll fight again, Goku shrugged. But next time, I won't be caught off guard by your possession trick. The Z-fighters watched this exchange in stunned silence. Offering mercy to an enemy was typical Goku behavior, but there was something different. In his manner now, a deeper wisdom behind the compassion, as if he truly understood the enemy on a fundamental level. Void Walker looked at the single remaining dimensional tear, then back at Goku. The Void Lords will not be as easily expelled from your consciousness as I was. They will tear your mind apart to reach the Dragon Balls. I'll deal with that when it happens, Goku replied. Your choice, Void Walker. Last chance. The emissary's form trembled, golden cracks spreading further across his obsidian surface. Finally, he stepped toward the tear. This is not mercy, he hissed. It is merely postponement of the inevitable. We will feast on the Dragon Balls. If not through me, then through those who follow. I'll be ready, Goku promised. Without another word, Void Walker stepped into the dimensional tear. The moment he passed through, Goku closed his hand, and the final rift sealed itself with a flash of golden light. A collective sigh of relief passed through the group. Bulma emerged from the Capsule Corp building, the defensive shields powering down now that the immediate threat had passed. Is it over? She asked cautiously. For now, Piccolo answered, studying Goku with narrowed eyes. What happened in there, Goku? When Void Walker possessed you? Goku touched the star marks on his chest, which still glowed faintly beneath his torn GI. I passed the second trial. The trial of mind. What does that mean exactly? Gohan asked. It means the Dragon Balls and I are more integrated now, Goku explained. More in harmony. I understand their purpose better, and they respond to my will more naturally. You certainly handled those dimensional tears more easily this time, Krillin observed. Goku nodded. That's part of it. But there's more, knowledge that was locked away before is accessible now. About the Dragon Balls, about the Void Collective, about what comes next. Which is? Vegeta prompted impatiently. Goku's expression grew serious. Void Walker was just the beginning. He was sent to assess whether the Dragon Balls could be taken easily. Now that he's failed, the Void Lords will come next. They're much stronger, and they won't try to possess me. They'll try to tear me apart. A chill fell over the group at these words. How do we stop them? Gohan asked. First, Goku replied, pulling the pouch of miniaturized divine scrolls from his GI, I need to complete the stabilization process. The scrolls from Zeno's library contain instructions for a ritual that will harmonize the Dragon Balls within me, making them harder for the Void to extract. And second? Piccolo asked. Training, Goku said simply. But not just physical training. I need to learn to use these new abilities properly. And for that, I need help from those who understand divine energy. Bulma stepped forward. The possessed people, they're unconscious but alive. We've moved them to the medical wing. Good, Goku nodded. Their connection to the Dragon Balls is severed now, but they'll need time to recover from the Void energy. Chi-Chi emerged from the building, rushing toward Goku as soon as she spotted him. Goku. Are you alright? Goten and I watched everything from inside. She threw her arms around him, but immediately pulled back with a gasp. The star marks on his chest were warm to the touch, and where her skin had made contact, tiny sparks of golden energy had leapt between them. Sorry, Goku said, concerned. Are you hurt? No, just surprised, Chi-Chi replied, looking at her hands in wonder. It felt strange. Like static electricity, but deeper somehow. Goku frowned, taking a careful step back from his wife. The integration is progressing. My energy is changing. The implications of this hung in the air between them. If simple physical contact caused this reaction, what else might change between them? The question remained unspoken, but Chi-Chi's worried expression said enough. We should get everyone inside, Bulma suggested, breaking the awkward moment. Those dimensional tiers might be closed, but who knows what other effects they've had. As the group moved toward the Capsule Corp building, Vegeta hung back, studying Goku intently. You're different, he said bluntly when the others were out of earshot. Goku met his gaze steadily. I know. Not just your power. Something more fundamental. The Dragon Balls aren't just inside me anymore, Goku explained quietly. They're becoming part of what I am. And I'm becoming part of what they are. Vegeta's eyes narrowed. And what exactly is that? What are you becoming, Kakarot? Goku looked up at the sky, where the aurora caused by dimensional instability still shimmered faintly. I'm not entirely sure yet. But I think I'm becoming what the Dragon Balls were always meant to be. Which is a bridge, Goku answered simply. Between mortal desire and divine possibility. Vegeta stared at him for a long moment, then grunted. Just don't forget who you were before all this. You're still a scion, Kakarot. Still a warrior. Still my rival. Goku smiled, genuinely touched by Vegeta's gruff concern. Some things won't change, Vegeta. I promise. But as they walked together toward the building, both knew that promise might be harder to keep than either wanted to admit. Later that evening, the core group gathered in Bulma's largest conference room. The formerly possessed humans had been treated and transported to a secure medical facility, still unconscious but stable. The Z fighters had recovered somewhat from the battle, though exhaustion showed on every face. Goku stood at the head of the table, the star marks on his chest now hidden beneath a fresh GI. Beside him, the divine scrolls from Zeno's library floated in the air, having returned to their original size. These texts contain the knowledge we need, Goku explained, gesturing to the scrolls. The ritual to stabilize the Dragon Balls must be performed at a specific location, the place where they were originally created on Earth. Kami's lookout, Piccolo said immediately. Goku nodded. According to the scrolls, the ritual requires the presence of those connected to the Dragon Ball's creation and purpose. That means you, Piccolo, as the fusion of Kami who created them. Dend, as the current guardian who maintains them. And me, as their current vessel. He hesitated over the last words, still uncomfortable with his new role. What exactly will this ritual do? Bulma asked. It will complete what the scrolls call, the anchoring, permanently stabilizing the Dragon Balls within me while maintaining their connection to Earth's magical network, Goku explained. Once anchored, they'll be much harder for the Void Collective to extract. And the dimensional tears? Gohan asked. They should stop appearing once the Dragon Balls are properly anchored, Goku replied. Their absence is what's causing the instability. What about wishes? Krillin wondered. If the Dragon Balls are inside you permanently, does that mean no more wishes for anyone? Goku exchanged a glance with Bulma, who had reviewed the scrolls with him earlier. That's complicated. According to the texts, the wish-granting power won't disappear. It will just change form. Meaning? Vegeta prompted. Meaning I'll become the conduit for wishes, rather than the Dragon Balls themselves, Goku said carefully. But there will be limitations. Stricter ones than before. A murmur ran through the group at this revelation. The Dragon Balls had been their safety net for years, a way to undo death, reverse catastrophe, fix mistakes that seemed unfixable. The idea of losing that resource, or having it fundamentally altered, was unsettling. When will you perform this ritual? Chi-Chi asked. Tomorrow at dawn, Goku answered. The dimensional instability is getting worse. We can't wait. And after that? Gohan pressed. You mentioned training. What kind? Divine energy manipulation, Goku replied. Whis has agreed to help, and so has the Supreme Kai. I need to learn to control these new abilities fully before the Void Lords arrive. How long do we have? Tien asked. Goku's expression grew grim. According to what I learned during the second trial, we have about a week. Maybe less. The Void Lord sensed Void Walker's failure immediately. They're already preparing to cross over. A week isn't much time, Yamcha observed nervously. It'll have to be enough, Goku replied with characteristic determination. In the meantime, I need all of you to be ready. The Void Lords will target those connected to me, trying to use you as leverage or as energy sources like Void Walker did with those Wishmakers. We can handle ourselves, Vegeta stated firmly. Focus on your training, Kakarot. Goku nodded gratefully, then turned to Bulma. There's one more thing. The scrolls mentioned a device, something called a quantum harmonic stabilizer. It's supposed to help manage the energy fluctuations during the integration process. Bulma's eyes lit up with scientific interest. Do the scrolls include specifications? Goku gestured to one of the floating documents, which drifted toward Bulma. This one contains the details. It's written in divine language, but Shenron helped me translate the technical sections for you. Bulma took the scroll and began reviewing it immediately, her expression shifting from interest to excitement to determination. This is incredible technology. Quantum fields I've never even theorized before. But she looked up with a confident smile, I can build it. Give me 48 hours. You have until tomorrow morning, Goku said apologetically. We need it for the ritual. Bulma's jaw dropped. That's impossible. These components alone would take, I can help, Gohan offered, looking over her shoulder at the scroll. Some of these equations relate to dimensional theory I've been studying. And I've got materials in my lab that might work as substitutes for some of these exotic elements, Bulma admitted, already mentally redesigning the device. It's settled then, Goku smiled. Bulma and Gohan will work on the stabilizer. Piccolo, you and I should head to the lookout tonight to prepare with Dend. The rest of you should recover your strength and be ready for whatever comes next. As the meeting broke up, Chi-Chi approached Goku cautiously. Will you come home tonight? Before you go to the lookout? The question carried more weight than its simple words. Home. Family. Normality. Things that seemed increasingly distant as Goku transformed. I can't, he said gently. The preparations need to start right away. And he glanced down at his chest, it might not be safe. The energy is more unstable as we get closer to the ritual. Disappointment flashed across Chi-Chi's face, but she nodded with the resilience that had sustained her through decades of loving a man who saved the world. I understand. Just, come back to us when you can, Goku. However you've changed, you're still my husband. Still Goten's father. Goku reached out as if to touch her cheek, then hesitated, remembering the spark of energy earlier. Instead, he simply smiled, a smile that held love, concern, and growing separation all at once. I'll always come back, he promised. That won't change. As Chi-Chi turned away, Vegeta approached. I'm coming with you to the lookout, he stated rather than asked. This isn't your fight, Vegeta. The Saiyan Prince scoffed. When has that ever stopped me? Besides, someone needs to make sure you don't ascend to godhood and forget the rest of us mortals. Goku laughed, genuinely amused by Vegeta's gruff concern. Fair enough. Let's go. The lookout floated serenely above the earth, seemingly untouched by the dimensional chaos below. Dend and Mr. Popo awaited them on the central platform, having sensed their approach. Goku, Dend greeted him with a respectful nod. Piccolo contacted me telepathically. The preparations for the ritual are already underway. Goku looked around, noting the intricate patterns being etched into the lookout surface, ancient Namekian symbols combined with geometric designs that resonated with the star pattern on his chest. Thank you, Dend. This means a lot. The young guardian studied him with wise eyes that belied his youthful appearance. The Dragon Balls were my responsibility. Helping them find their true purpose is an honor. True purpose? Vegeta questioned sharply. You make it sound like this absorption was predestined. Dend exchanged a glance with Piccolo before answering. In a way, it was. The Dragon Balls were created as separate entities for safekeeping, but the oldest Namekian legends speak of a time when they would find a worthy vessel and achieve their ultimate form. And you believe Kakarot is this worthy vessel? Vegeta pressed, skepticism evident. The evidence suggests it, Piccolo interjected. The absorption occurring precisely during the celestial alignment. The integration progressing through specific trials. The Dragon Balls responding to his will and consciousness. These aren't coincidences. Goku listened to this discussion about himself with mixed emotions. On one hand, the idea of being chosen or destined for this role appealed to the part of him that had always sought greater challenges and transformations. On the other hand, it carried a weight of responsibility and separation from his normal life that grew heavier by the hour. Destined or not, we need to complete the ritual before the Void Lords arrive, he finally said, bringing the focus back to their immediate task. Dend nodded. The geometric array will be finished by dawn. Mr. Popo is preparing the sacred water from the Room of Spirit and Time. It exists partially outside normal spacetime, making it ideal for stabilizing dimensional energy. What about this device Bulma's building? Piccolo asked. It'll be placed at the center of the array, Goku explained, pointing to an unmarked circle in the middle of the patterns. The quantum harmonic stabilizer will help regulate the energy flow during the ritual, preventing feedback loops that could, well, cause problems. What kind of problems? Vegeta asked suspiciously. Explosive ones, Goku admitted. According to the scrolls, without proper stabilization, the ritual could release enough energy to vaporize the lookout and everything on it. Wonderful, Vegeta muttered. And we're trusting Bulma to build an untested divine technology overnight? If anyone can do it, she can, Goku said with complete confidence. Dend led them to the palace at the lookout center, where a chamber had been prepared for Goku to meditate before the ritual. You should rest and center yourself, the guardian advised. The ritual will demand your complete focus and spiritual balance. I'll try, Goku promised, though rest seemed unlikely given the circumstances. As Dend and Mr. Popo returned to their preparations, Piccolo lingered in the doorway of the meditation chamber. There's something you're not telling us, the Namekian observed, his keen perception as sharp as ever. About the ritual. About what comes after. Goku sighed, unable to hide the truth from his old friend. The scrolls mention side effects of the anchoring. Once the Dragon Balls are fully integrated and stabilized. What? Piccolo prompted when he hesitated. My connection to normal ki, to the energy I've used all my life, might be permanently altered, Goku explained reluctantly. The Dragon Ball energy could override it completely, replacing it with something different. Different how? More powerful, but less flexible. Less human. Goku looked down at his hands, imagining them glowing with golden light instead of his familiar blue ki. I might not be able to power up the same way, or use the techniques I've relied on for years. Piccolo absorbed this revelation in silence. Finally, he asked the question Goku had been avoiding, does this mean no more Super Saiyan transformations? No more Kamehameha? I don't know for sure, Goku admitted. But it's possible. The scrolls weren't entirely clear, but they suggested that the final integration requires sacrifices. Have you told the others? Vegeta? Your family? Goku shook his head. What would be the point? The ritual has to happen regardless. The dimensional tears will keep getting worse until the Dragon Balls are stabilized. Telling everyone would just worry them needlessly. They deserve to know what might happen to you, Piccolo argued. Especially if you might emerge from this ritual as someone different. I'll still be me, Goku insisted, though uncertainty crept into his voice. Just with different abilities. Different limitations. Piccolo studied him for a long moment. You should at least tell Chi-Chi and Goten. They, above all others, deserve to know what changes to expect. Goku nodded reluctantly. You're right. After the ritual, when I know exactly what's happened, I'll tell them everything. Piccolo accepted this compromise with a nod and left Goku alone with his thoughts, and with Shenron's increasingly integrated consciousness sharing his mind. The Namekian speaks wisdom, the dragon observed. Transparency honors those who care for you. I know, Goku acknowledged. I don't want them to look at me differently. To worry more than they already do. Change is inevitable. Hiding it changes nothing. When did you become so philosophical? Goku asked wryly. I have granted wishes for millennia, Shenron replied. I have seen the consequences of both truth and deception. One builds, the other destroys. Goku sat cross-legged on the meditation cushion, his eyes closing as he tried to center himself for the coming ritual. After tomorrow, how much of you and how much of me will remain distinct? A question with no simple answer, Shenron responded. We become something new together, neither purely dragon nor purely Saiyan. Our memories remain our own, but our essence merges. And my connections? My relationships? My love for fighting and food and family? Those define your spirit. They remain, though perhaps transformed by new perspective. Goku fell silent, digesting this. Despite Shenron's reassurance, the fear of losing himself, of becoming so fundamentally altered that he was no longer recognizable to those he loved, weighed heavily upon him. Outside the chamber, the preparations continued through the night. Symbols glowed with otherworldly light as Dend and Mr. Popo completed the ritual array. Piccolo meditated on the lookout's edge, connecting with the remnants of Kami within him to prepare for his role in the ceremony. Vegeta paced restlessly, his energy fluctuating with uncharacteristic anxiety. And far below, in Bulma's laboratory, feverish work continued on the device that would prevent catastrophic energy release. During the anchoring ritual, sparks flew as Bulma and Gohan raced against time, combining cutting-edge Earth technology with principles derived from divine knowledge. Dawn approached, carrying with it the promise of transformation, and the shadow of greater dangers to come. The first light of morning cast long shadows across the lookout as the ritual preparations reached their final stage. Bulma arrived via one of her fastest aircraft, bleary-eyed from an all-night engineering marathon but triumphant. In her hands she carried a complex device about the size of a basketball, the quantum harmonic stabilizer, its surface covered in intricate circuitry and glowing crystalline components. Finished with 20 minutes to spare, she announced proudly, setting the device carefully in the center of the ritual array. Gohan followed, carrying a portable power source. We had to improvise some of the components, but the underlying quantum field equations should work as specified. Goku emerged from the meditation chamber, his expression serene despite the momentous ritual ahead. The star marks on his chest glowed visibly through his GI, pulsing in perfect synchronization with his heartbeat. Thank you, Bulma, Gohan, he said warmly. I knew you could do it. Just don't explode, okay? Bulma replied with forced lightness. I hate wasting good tech on one-time uses. Dend approached, his staff tapping gently on the lookout surface. It's time, Goku. The alignment is perfect now. The young guardian led Goku to the center of the ritual array, where the quantum harmonic stabilizer hummed with energy. Piccolo took his position at one point of the seven-sided geometric pattern, representing Kami's connection to the Dragon Ball's creation. Den stood at another point, embodying their ongoing maintenance and purpose. What about the other 5 points? Vegeta asked from the sidelines. The pattern is 7-sided, but only 2 positions are filled. The Dragon Balls themselves will manifest projections to fill the remaining points, Dend explained. Their consciousness, channeled through Goku, will complete the circuit. And our job? Bulma asked, indicating herself, Vegeta, and Gohan. Stay back and be ready to activate the stabilizer if energy levels spike beyond safety parameters, Piccolo instructed. And be prepared to shield yourselves if necessary. This ritual will release tremendous power. Goku took his place at the center of the array, standing directly above the stabilizer. He removed the top of his GI, revealing the 7 star marks arranged in a perfect circle on his chest. Each pulsed with increasing brightness as the ritual's beginning drew near. "I'm ready," he announced, his voice steady despite the uncertainty of what was to come. Dend raised his staff, tapping it 3 times against the lookout surface. With each tap, the ritual array glowed brighter, ancient symbols activating in sequence. By the wisdom of Namek, by the power of Earth, by the connection of the 7 spheres, the Guardian intoned, we call upon the dragon's essence to find its true form, its true vessel, its true purpose. Piccolo raised his hands, green energy flowing from his palms into the array. As creator and guardian, I release my claim upon the Dragon Balls. Let them follow their destined path. The air around Goku began to shimmer with golden light. From his chest, 7 distinct beams emerged, 1 from each star mark, stretching outward to form the 5 remaining points of the 7-sided array. At each point, the light coalesced into a glowing orb that resembled a Dragon Ball, but composed purely of energy rather than physical matter. Each contained a different number of stars, matching the original balls. "Incredible," Gohan whispered from the sidelines. "They're projecting their essence outward while remaining physically inside Dad." The 7 energy projections pulsed in unison, and with each pulse, Goku's body lifted slightly off the ground. The star marks on his chest grew brighter until they were almost painful to look at directly. Then began the next phase of the ritual, speaking in ancient Namekian, words so old they predated even the creation of the first Dragon Balls. As he spoke, the array beneath them shifted, symbols rearranging themselves into new patterns that matched the star configuration on Goku's chest. Goku remained calm at the center of this swirling energy, his eyes closed in deep concentration. Within his mind, Shenron's consciousness moved closer to his own, the boundaries between them becoming increasingly permeable. "It begins," the dragon's voice resonated. "The anchoring. The final union." Golden light enveloped Goku completely, obscuring his form from the observers. Inside this cocoon of energy, remarkable changes were occurring. The 7 star marks on his chest began to sink deeper, no longer sitting on the surface of his skin but embedding themselves within his very cellular structure. His DNA itself was being rewritten, infused with the magical essence of the Dragon Balls. Outside the golden cocoon, the ritual array responded to these internal changes. The 7 energy projections spun faster, creating a ring of light around Goku. Piccolo and Dend maintained their positions, channeling their energy into the array to guide the process. "The energy readings are spiking," Bulma called out, checking a device strapped to her wrist. "Gohan, activate the stabilizer." Gohan pressed a sequence of buttons on the remote control linked to the quantum harmonic stabilizer. The device beneath Goku hummed louder, emitting pulses of blue energy that intersected with the golden light, creating a stable matrix. "It's working," Gohan confirmed, watching the readings. "The quantum field is containing the excess energy." Inside the golden cocoon, Goku experienced a sensation unlike anything he'd felt before, not pain exactly, but a fundamental restructuring of his being. The barriers between himself and Shenron dissolved further, their memories remaining distinct but their essence merging into something new. Images flashed through his consciousness, every wish ever granted by the Dragon Balls, every life touched by their power, every consequence both intended and unintended. Simultaneously, Shenron experienced Goku's memories, his battles, his friendships, his love for his family, his pure joy in testing his limits. "We understand each other now," their merged voice echoed within. "Truly and completely." As the integration deepened, Goku felt his connection to his familiar ki changing, not disappearing, but transforming. The energy he'd used all his life was being infused with the Dragon Ball's magical essence, creating a new form of power that was neither purely ki nor purely magic, but a harmonious fusion of both. Outside, the observers watched as the golden cocoon began to pulse with increasing intensity. With each pulse, the entire lookout trembled slightly. "Is that supposed to happen?" Vegeta demanded, bracing himself against the vibrations. "The scrolls mentioned a resonance phase," Bulma replied, checking her instruments. "The Dragon Balls are synchronizing with Earth's magical network." Suddenly, all 7 energy projections surrounding Goku flared simultaneously and shot upward in a column of light that reached into the heavens. The golden cocoon expanded, then contracted violently, creating a shockwave that knocked everyone except Piccolo and Dend off their feet. When they looked up, the ritual array had stopped glowing. The energy projections had vanished. And at the center, Goku stood transformed. His physical form appeared largely unchanged, still recognizably Goku, but the star marks on his chest had transformed. Instead of 7 distinct stars, a single, intricate dragon pattern now covered his torso, glowing softly with golden light beneath his skin. His eyes held the same golden glow, though it faded to his normal black as he blinked and looked around. "Goku?" Piccolo called cautiously, lowering his arms from their ritual position. "I'm here," he replied, his voice normal but somehow carrying greater resonance. "We're both here." "Did it work?" Dend asked, approaching cautiously. "Are the Dragon Balls anchored?" Goku nodded, looking down at the dragon pattern on his chest. "Yes. They're fully integrated now. Stabilized within Earth's magical network." "And Shenron?" Gohan asked, helping Bulma to her feet. "Still present," Goku answered. "But not separate anymore. We're partners. 2 aspects of one being now." "How do you feel?" Bulma asked, approaching with a scanner. Goku considered the question carefully. "Different. Stronger, but in a new way. More, connected to everything." He raised a hand, and golden energy flowed around it effortlessly, not the strained manifestation from before, but a natural extension of his will. "The Dragon Ball power responds perfectly now," he demonstrated, creating a small dragon of light that circled his palm before dissipating. "And the dimensional instability should be resolved. The tears won't appear anymore." "What about your normal abilities?" Vegeta asked the critical question. "Your Saiyan powers?" Goku took a deep breath and focused. Blue ki flickered around him briefly, then merged with the golden energy, creating a new aura, predominantly gold but shot through with threads of his familiar blue. "Still there," he said, "but changed. Merged with the Dragon Ball energy." To demonstrate, he attempted a familiar technique, instant transmission. He disappeared and reappeared instantly at the edge of the lookout, but the effect was different. Instead of simply vanishing, his form seemed to dissolve into golden light before reforming. "Some abilities have changed in form but not function," he explained, returning to the group. "Others might be gone completely, replaced by new ones." "Can you still transform?" Vegeta pressed. "Super Saiyan. God form." Goku closed his eyes and concentrated. Power surged through him, but not in the familiar pattern of Super Saiyan transformation. Instead, the dragon pattern on his chest glowed brighter, and his aura shifted to a deeper gold with occasional flashes of crimson, reminiscent of but distinct from his god form. "Not exactly," he admitted as the power subsided. "The transformations I knew before have been absorbed into this new state. The power is there, maybe even greater, but expressed differently." Vegeta's expression darkened slightly, not with anger but with something like loss. The rival he had chased for so many years was changing into something beyond their shared Scion heritage. What about the Void Lords? Piccolo asked, bringing the focus back to the immediate threat. Will they still come? Yes, Goku confirmed. The anchoring makes the Dragon Balls harder to extract, but no less desirable to the Void Collective. They'll sense the stabilization and know their time to act is limited. So we still have a fight coming, Vegeta concluded, seeming almost relieved at this constant in an increasingly altered situation. Yes, Goku nodded. But now I have a better chance of defending the Dragon Balls, and Earth. The anchoring was just the first step. Now I need to master these new abilities before the Void Lords arrive. Dend approached, studying the dragon pattern on Goku's chest with fascination. The scrolls mentioned a training ground, a place between dimensions where time flows differently. Where you can practice controlling divine energy safely. The Nexus Chamber, Goku confirmed. It exists in the space between the lookout and the room of spirit and time. Shenron's memories show me how to access it. How long do we have before the Void Lords arrive? Gohan asked. 5 days at most, Goku replied. But in the Nexus Chamber, I can train for what will feel like months to me, while only days pass out here. I'm coming with you, Vegeta stated firmly. Divine energy or not, you still need a proper sparring partner. Goku smiled gratefully at his rival. I was hoping you'd say that. There are techniques I need to practice that require an opponent. What about the rest of us? Bulma asked. Should we evacuate? Prepare defenses? What exactly are we facing with these Void Lords? Goku's expression grew serious. The Void Lords are the second tier of the collective's hierarchy. 3 entities with power far beyond Void Walkers. They don't possess people, they consume them. And they'll target those connected to me, trying to draw me out. So we need to be ready to defend ourselves, Piccolo concluded. Yes. And Goku hesitated, I need to speak with Chi-Chi and Goten before entering the Nexus Chamber. They need to understand what's happened. What's still happening? The weight behind these words wasn't lost on anyone. The transformation Goku had undergone wasn't just physical or even energetic, it was fundamental to his very being. Explaining that to his family would not be easy. I'll take you to them, Gohan offered quietly. Goku nodded gratefully, then turned to Dend. We'll begin the Nexus Chamber training tomorrow. Today is for explanations and preparations. As the group dispersed, Piccolo approached Goku one last time. Was it worth it? He asked quietly. This transformation. This merging with the Dragon Balls. Goku looked out over the edge of the lookout at the earth below, the world he had protected so many times, in so many ways. Ask me again after we've defeated the Void Lords, he replied. For now, all I know is that it was necessary. Piccolo nodded, understanding the burden of necessary sacrifices better than most. Good luck with Chi-Chi, he said, the simple statement acknowledging the difficult conversation ahead. Goku smiled faintly. Thanks. I might need it more than against the Void Lords. The Sun family home stood peaceful in the mountain clearing, seemingly untouched by the cosmic events unfolding around it. Goku landed in the yard with Gohan beside him, his new energy signature causing the grass beneath his feet to briefly shine with golden light before returning to normal. There inside, Gohan said unnecessarily, sensing his mother and brother's familiar key signatures. Goku nodded, suddenly nervous in a way that facing universal threats never made him. This isn't going to be easy, is it? No, Gohan answered honestly. But they love you, Dad. That hasn't changed. But I have, Goku said quietly, looking down at his hands. Though he wore a fresh GI top covering the dragon pattern on his chest, he felt distinctly different in his own skin, more powerful but also more alien to himself. The door opened before they could reach it. Chi-Chi stood in the doorway, relief flooding her face at the sight of them. Goku! Gohan, she exclaimed. We felt something enormous from the lookout this morning. Are you alright? We're fine, Mom, Gohan assured her. The ritual was successful. Chi-Chi's eyes fixed on Goku, immediately sensing something different about her husband. Goku? He stepped forward carefully. It's still me, Chi-Chi, just changed. Dad. Goten's excited voice preceded the boy as he bounded past his mother to greet his father. He stopped short, however, staring at Goku with wide eyes. Whoa, you look different. Do I? Goku asked, surprised. To his own perception, his physical appearance hadn't changed dramatically. Not your face, Goten clarified. You're everything else. You're all glowy. Goku realized his son was seeing his energy signature rather than his physical form, something children sometimes perceive more clearly than adults. That's what I came to talk to you both about, he said gently. The ritual completed the integration with the Dragon Balls. They're fully anchored within me now. Come inside, Chi-Chi said, her voice carefully controlled. I'll make tea. The normalcy of the offer, tea in their family kitchen, struck Goku as both comforting and somewhat absurd given the cosmic transformations he'd undergone. Nevertheless, he followed his family inside gratefully. Seated at the familiar kitchen table with a steaming cup before him, Goku began the difficult explanation. He described the ritual, the anchoring process, and the fundamental changes to his energy and abilities. Chi-Chi listened silently, her hands clasped tightly around her own cup. Goten alternated between wide-eyed fascination and confused frowns. So you're not a Super Saiyan anymore, the boy finally asked, focusing on the aspect most relevant to his young mind. Not exactly, Goku tried to explain. The power is still there, but it's reshaped. Combined with the Dragon Ball's energy. Can you show me? Goten asked eagerly. Goten, this isn't, Chi-Chi began to admonish, but Goku raised a hand gently. It's okay. You both should see what's happened. He stood and moved to an open space in the kitchen. This is me now. He removed the top of his GI, revealing the intricate dragon pattern that now covered his torso where the 7-star marks had been. As Chi-Chi and Goten watched, the pattern began to glow softly, golden light emanating from beneath his skin. The Dragon Balls aren't separate objects inside me anymore, Goku explained. They've become part of what I am. And I've become part of what they are. He raised a hand, and golden energy flowed around it, taking the shape of a miniature Shenron that circled his wrist before dissipating. My energy, my abilities, even my consciousness has been altered, he continued carefully. Shenron's mind has merged with mine. We're partners now, two aspects of one being. Can you still grant wishes? Goten asked, fascinated despite the seriousness of the situation. Goku smiled faintly. In a way. But with stricter limitations than before. And not just anyone can make wishes anymore. The connection has to be meaningful. Throughout this demonstration, Chi-Chi had remained silent, her expression unreadable. Finally, as Goku let the golden energy fade and put his GI top back on, she spoke. When will you change back? She asked quietly. The simple question carried the weight of her hopes, and Goku felt his heart ache at the answer he had to give. I won't, Chi-Chi, he said gently. This isn't a transformation I can reverse. It's permanent. The word hung in the air between them. Permanent. Not another battle form to be used and then set aside. Not another temporary god mode. A fundamental, irreversible change to the man she had married. I see, she said, her voice tight with controlled emotion. I'm still me, Goku insisted, moving back to the table, wanting desperately to touch her hand but hesitating, remembering the energy discharge from their last contact. Still your husband. Still Goten's father. Are you? Chi-Chi asked directly. With a dragon merged with your mind? With cosmic power instead of the energy you were born with? With duties to the universe instead of your family? The question struck Goku like physical blows. Because they reflected his own deepest fears. My heart hasn't changed, he said softly. Who I care about. What matters to me. But everything else has, Chi-Chi replied, a single tear escaping despite her efforts at control. And we both know this is just the beginning, isn't it? These Void Lords you're preparing to fight, they're coming because of what you've become. And after them, there will be others. Her perception cut to the heart of the matter with the clarity that had always been her strength. Goku couldn't deny the truth of her words. Yes, he acknowledged. The Dragon Balls have always been targets for those seeking power. Now that power resides in me. So our normal life, what little we had of it between world-saving crises, that's over now. The question wasn't really a question. Goku looked to Gohan, who had remained a silent, supportive presence, then back to his wife. I don't know what normal looks like for me anymore, Chi-Chi, but I know I still need you. Still love you. That hasn't changed. Can I still hug you? Goten asked suddenly, the child's question cutting through the heavy adult conversation. Or will I get zapped like Mom did? Goku looked at his youngest son, his heart full of love for this simple, direct approach to a complex situation. Let's find out, he said, kneeling down to Goten's level. Carefully. The boy approached cautiously, then with typical Goten impulsiveness, threw his arms around his father's neck. A slight golden shimmer passed between them, but no painful discharge, just a warm tingling sensation that made Goten giggle. It tickles, he exclaimed. Goku hugged him back, relief washing through him that this most basic connection remained possible. I'm learning to control the energy better, he explained, looking over Goten's head at Chi-Chi, it responds to my will now, not just instinct. Chi-Chi watched them, her expression softening slightly. Seeing Goku still able to embrace their son, still fundamentally the loving father despite his transformation, seemed to answer some unspoken question for her. How long before these Void Lords arrive, she asked, shifting to practical matters in that resilient way she had always dealt with the extraordinary circumstances of loving Goku. 5 days at most, he answered. Tomorrow I'll enter a special training dimension with Vegeta. Time passes differently there, I'll have months to master these new abilities while only days pass here. And then you'll fight, she concluded. Again. As always. Yes, Goku admitted. But this time to protect more than just Earth. The Dragon Ball's power extends across dimensions. If the Void Collective consumes it. I understand, Chi-Chi cut him off gently. You don't need to justify saving the universe to me, Goku. I've been married to you too long for that. The slight humor in her tone gave Goku hope. He released Goten and stood, cautiously approaching his wife. May I? He asked softly, extending his hand. After a moment's hesitation, Chi-Chi placed her palm against his. The golden energy shimmered between them, but controlled now, a gentle warmth rather than a shocking discharge. You're still learning, she observed. I always am, he replied, the simple exchange carrying deeper meaning for both of them. Will you stay tonight? She asked. Before you go into this training dimension? If you want me to. I do, she said firmly. Void Lords and Dragon powers aside, you're still my husband, son Goku. And this family has weathered stranger changes than this. Goku smiled, genuine relief flooding through him. Whatever changes had occurred in his being, his connection to his family remained, altered, perhaps, but unbroken. Then I'll stay, he promised. Later, as evening settled over the mountain home, Goku sat on the roof looking up at the stars. The dragon pattern on his chest glowed softly beneath his GI, responding to the cosmic energies flowing through the night sky. She accepts the change, but fears the consequences, Shenron's voice observed within their shared consciousness. She always has, Goku replied silently. Ever since she married a boy who didn't even understand what marriage was. She spent her life adapting to who and what I am. Her strength is remarkable for a mortal with no special powers. Chi-Chi has her own kind of strength, Goku agreed. Not ki or magical energy, but something just as powerful in its way. He sensed Gohan approaching before seeing him. His perception of energy signatures had heightened dramatically since the anchoring. He could now sense not just power levels but emotional states, connections between beings, even faint echoes of past events. "Mind if I join you?" his eldest son asked, floating up to the rooftop. "Always welcome," Goku replied, patting the space beside him. Gohan settled next to his father, looking up at the same stars. "How are you really feeling about all this?" The question, asked with Gohan's characteristic thoughtfulness, invited a deeper answer than Goku had given the others. "Overwhelmed," he admitted. "Not by the power, I've handled new transformations before. But by the perspective. Shenron has existed for centuries, Gohan. Has seen the rise and fall of civilizations, the consequences of wishes playing out across generations. And now you share those memories," Gohan realized. "Not all at once," Goku clarified. "They emerge when relevant, like knowledge I didn't know I had until needed. But it changes how I see things. Makes me more aware of time. Of consequences. Is that bad?" Goku considered the question. "Not bad. Just different. I've always lived in the moment, focused on the next fight, the next challenge. Now I see patterns, connections spanning centuries. Does it make you less, you?" Gohan asked carefully. "That's what I've been asking myself," Goku replied honestly. "Am I still Son Goku if I can perceive time differently? If I understand cosmic principles that would have bored me to tears before? If fighting isn't my only passion anymore? And what answer have you found?" Goku smiled at his son, his brilliant, thoughtful son who had always understood complexity better than his father. "That maybe me was never as simple as I thought. That I can change, grow, become something new while still carrying what matters from before." Gohan nodded, seemingly satisfied with this answer. "For what it's worth, Dad, you still feel like you to me. Different, yes, but with the same core." "Thanks, Gohan," Goku said softly. "That means more than you know." They sat in companionable silence for a while, father and son beneath the vast cosmos. Eventually, Gohan spoke again. "These Void Lords, how dangerous are they really?" Goku's expression grew serious. "More dangerous than almost anything we've faced. They don't just want to destroy or conquer, they want to consume. To feed on magical energy until nothing remains but void. And they're ancient, Gohan. Older than the Kais, older than the gods of destruction. But you can beat them? With these new abilities, properly mastered?" "Yes," Goku said with quiet confidence. "But it won't be easy. And they won't be alone." "What do you mean?" "The Void Lord serves something greater, the master of the Void Collective. If they fail, it will come next. And can you defeat that too?" Goku looked down at the dragon pattern glowing beneath his gi. "That's what the third trial will determine. The trial of spirit." "You haven't completed all the trials yet?" Gohan asked, surprised. "The first two are done, body and mind. The third comes during the final battle, when the true nature of wishes is revealed." Goku recited the cryptic description from the scrolls. "I don't know exactly what that means yet." "Sounds ominous," Gohan observed. "Maybe," Goku agreed. "Or maybe it's just the universe's way of making sure I've learned what I need to learn." A gentle voice called from below, Chi-Chi, telling them dinner was ready. The normal, domestic interruption to their cosmic conversation made both men smile. "Some things don't change," Gohan commented as they floated down from the roof. "And I'm glad for that," Goku replied, his stomach growling on cue. Dragon consciousness or not, some aspects of Son Goku remained perfectly consistent. The next morning dawned clear and cool over Mount Paozu. Goku stood in the yard, saying goodbye to his family before departing for the lookout and the Nexus chamber training. Remember, only about 5 days will pass out here, he reminded them. But I'll experience months inside the chamber. Just like the hyperbolic time chamber, but better? Goten asked, still trying to understand. Something like that, Goku nodded. Except this dimension is specifically designed for mastering divine energy, not just intense training. Chi-Chi stepped forward, having come to a kind of acceptance overnight. Be careful in there, Goku. Even with time flowing differently, don't push yourself too hard. I'll try not to, he promised, knowing his tendency to exceed limits was one thing unlikely to change regardless of dragon mergers or cosmic power. She reached up, hesitated briefly, then placed her hand against his cheek. The golden energy shimmered between them, controlled now, warm rather than shocking. You're getting better at that, she observed. Lots more to learn though, he replied, covering her hand with his own. Gohan stood nearby, Videl and Pan having joined them that morning. The baby gurgled happily in her mother's arms, reaching toward her grandfather with innocent curiosity. She senses the change in your energy, Videl noted, bringing Pan closer. She's fascinated by it. Goku gently touched his granddaughter's cheek, careful to modulate the golden energy to its softest level. Pan giggled, her tiny hand grasping at the faint glow around his finger. When I come back, he promised, I'll have better control. No more accidental zapping. We'll hold you to that, Videl smiled. Pan wants proper grandpa time without energy discharges. The moment of family connection grounded Goku, reminding him of what he was fighting to protect. Whatever cosmic responsibilities came with the Dragon Balls, his first duty remained to these people who loved him despite all the strangeness he brought into their lives. I should go, he said finally. Vegeta's probably already at the lookout, complaining about my lateness. That definitely hasn't changed, Gohan laughed. With final hugs, carefully controlled on Goku's part, he stepped back and prepared to depart. Rather than using instant transmission, he chose to fly, giving himself time to think before the intense training ahead. I'll see you in 5 days, he called as he rose into the air. Be safe. If anything happens, anything at all, Bulma has a way to contact me inside the chamber. We'll be fine, Dad, Gohan assured him. Focus on your training. With a final wave, Goku accelerated upward, his aura now a blend of golden Dragon Ball energy and his familiar blue ki. As he flew toward the lookout, he felt something went wrong with this response. Please try again. Bring the next chapter. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.